Chapter 1886. However, she didn't dare to go out now. She was a girl after all. She didn't have any experience like this before, nor did she have a boyfriend. Her knowledge in this area came from novels and movies. Lu Huamei's feet couldn't move as she thought about what might happen later. She knew that she would be Yang Ming's woman as soon as she stepped out of this room. She might even be his secret lover in the future. She would come and go at his beck and call when he needed her. She wouldn't have a boyfriend anymore and wouldn't have her own freedom. However, if she couldn't even get past the current difficulties, then her future life would be even more gloomy. She wouldn't even be able to avenge her father. Therefore, Lu Huamei still took a firm step forward when she thought of this. She walked out of the room with a towel wrapped around her body and slowly walked towards Yang Ming. She felt that it was unspeakably ironic as she listened to the comments about the Lu family on the TV. Alright, I didn't lose anything. I didn't expect myself to be so valuable. I could let Lu Hua and Lu Zhenan get the punishment they deserved just by giving up my body. I could also get back the Jiangyan group. The price I got in exchange was simply too generous. Yang Ming knew that Jing Xiaolu had come out when he heard the footsteps. He turned off the TV and was about to get up, but he was stunned when he saw the person who came. That was because the person who came wasn't Jing Xiaolu, but Lu Huamei whom he saw this afternoon. The towel on Lu Huamei's body fell apart and fell to the ground silently. Her white skin was crystal clear, without a single flaw. This was a perfect woman. However, even though Lu Huamei was very beautiful, Yang Ming wasn't in the mood to admire her. He was slightly stunned and asked strangely, Lu Huamei, why are you here? Did I enter the wrong room? Lu Huamei saw Yang Ming's expression and knew that he had misunderstood. He thought that he entered the wrong room and didn't expect that she had purposely waited for him here. Lu Huamei was afraid that Yang Ming would just leave when she thought of this. She didn't know where she got the courage, but she suddenly hugged Yang Ming tightly without the shyness from before. However, Lu Huamei's actions stunned Yang Ming. What does Lu Huamei mean? What do you want to do? Yang Ming was already drunk, so his heart was a little agitated. After Lu Huamei's teasing, he unconsciously had some physiological reactions. Especially when he could clearly feel the softness of Lu Huamei's chest, it made Yang Ming's breathing quicken. However, he still rationally restrained some of his thoughts. Yang Ming, I beg you to help me. Two streams of tears suddenly fell from Lu Huamei's face as she spoke up to this point. It was unknown whether it was because of the upcoming sacrifice or because she thought of her own misery. Ah. Yang Ming was a little surprised by Lu Huamei's attitude and tone. Is this still Lu Huamei? That self-righteous and domineering Lu Huamei who thought that victory was within her grasp in the afternoon? Why did it seem like a completely different person? This was a completely different person from the Lu Huamei he saw in the afternoon. Yang Ming even wondered if the person who came was Lu Huamei's twin sister. Although Lu Huamei was shy when she saw Yang Ming's astonishment, she knew that she couldn't back down at this time. If she backed down, there was probably no way to salvage the situation. Therefore, she still hugged Yang Ming tightly. Yang Ming, I was wrong. I shouldn't have talked to you like that in the afternoon. Why don't you beat me up? Anything is fine as long as you're willing to help me. Yang Ming only confirmed Lu Huamei's identity when he heard Lu Huamei's words at this moment. The beauty in front of him was indeed Lu Huamei herself. It was just that the change in her personality was so great that Yang Ming found it difficult to adapt. Lu Huamei's entire body hung on Yang Ming's body, which made Yang Ming feel a little uncomfortable. After all, Yang Ming was a normal man. This kind of sensory stimulation made him have the impulse to make a mistake. However, Yang Ming wouldn't act rashly before he figured out the situation. Although he was drunk and his mind was a little irrational, Yang Ming wasn't the young boy from before. He still had self-control. Let go of my hand first, put on your clothes, and tell me what happened. Yang Ming frowned and said to Lu Huamei. You're willing to help me. Lu Huamei was delighted. She didn't have full confidence in making Yang Ming change his attitude. She had already planned for the worst. Yang Ming would go back on his word after he finished eating. Lu Huamei wouldn't be able to do anything if that happened. However, Yang Ming didn't rush to take her, but asked her what happened instead. This meant that Yang Ming really wanted to help her, but he wanted to confirm the complexity of the situation, whether he could help, and whether this deal was worth it. Of course, Lu Huamei's thoughts were crooked. Her businesslike mind couldn't change in such a short time. She always considered problems from a business perspective. What Yang Ming was thinking was, why is Lu Huamei hugging me like this? How am I going to explain it clearly when Jing Xiaolu comes in later? I'm going to leave soon, and I don't have many chances to interact with Jing Xiaolu. Won't I make Jing Xiaolu sad if I hug Lu Huamei now? If it was a normal day, Yang Ming might have calmly considered the abnormality of today's matter. However, Yang Ming drank a lot of wine today, and he had a preconceived notion that he had entered the wrong room, so he didn't think too much about it. He thought that Lu Huamei suddenly felt emotional when she saw him. Yang Ming could understand this. If Lu Huamei's negotiation with the Ming Yang company failed, she would probably look for other partners and friends to negotiate. Obviously, with her negotiation attitude and the current complexity of the Lu family, no one should be able to help her. Just when she was at a loss for words, Yang Ming came into her room. Lu Huamei would naturally change her attitude in times of great joy and sorrow. I can help you, but you have to let me know what's going on, right? Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't want to care about Lu Huamei's matter at first, but such a situation happened. Yang Ming might have no choice but to help. As an elite in the business world, Lu Huamei could clearly distinguish whether Yang Ming was being perfunctory or sincere. When Yang Ming said this, Lu Huamei was completely sure that as long as Yang Ming could help, he would help. However, Lu Huamei knew how complicated things were. Sometimes, helping or not was just a matter of thought. It was hard to define when one could help or not help. Therefore, Lu Huamei was also afraid of such a situation. In order to make Yang Ming work harder, Lu Huamei was anxious and couldn't care less. She kissed Yang Ming directly. Ugh! What are you doing? Yang Ming looked at Lu Huamei in horror. He was kissed firmly because he wasn't on guard. He didn't know what happened to Lu Huamei. Chapter 1887. After Lu Huamei kissed Yang Ming, she didn't know what to do next. She was just feeling it. She didn't have this kind of experience at all. Since Yang Ming didn't take the initiative, she could only fumble around blindly. Thinking of the scenes in the TV series, Lu Huamei imitated the male and female protagonists in the TV series and gnawed on Yang Ming's face. However, it was completely different in terms of form and spirit. The TV series also had some artificial acting. Therefore, Lu Huamei's imitation was even more out of tune. Yang Ming was amused by Lu Huamei's jerky and ignorant actions. Are you going to eat me? I'm going to eat you. Lu Huamei misunderstood Yang Ming's words. Yang Ming was talking about eating. Lu Huamei's current actions were basically treating Yang Ming as food and gnawing on him. Lu Huamei understood the other meaning of the word eat. She thought that Yang Ming was talking about eating. In addition, she was nervous and didn't distinguish the meaning in detail. She thought that Yang Ming liked to push her down, so she nodded and admitted it. Seeing Yang Ming smile, Lu Huamei thought that Yang Ming liked her taking the initiative. She was happy and worked harder. Yang Ming was unlucky. He couldn't breathe because of Lu Huamei. He didn't know what this chick wanted to do. Yang Ming was out of breath and finally couldn't help but push Lu Huamei onto the bed. Only then did Yang Ming let out a sigh of relief. Lu Huamei saw Yang Ming push her onto the bed and thought that her efforts had aroused Yang Ming's interest. She let out a sigh of relief and was secretly happy at the same time. She was really self-taught. She could make Yang Ming fall in love with just a random kiss. However, she was more nervous. After all, it was Lu Huamei's first time facing something like this. Although she was prepared, her nervousness was instinctive. She closed her eyes and waited for something that every woman would experience in her life. However, after waiting for a long time, she still didn't see Yang Ming pounce on her. Lu Huamei was a little puzzled. What's going on? Why didn't Yang Ming come? However, she didn't have the courage to open her eyes. She had already used up all the courage in her body just now. At this moment, she was like an ordinary little girl, embarrassed and embarrassed. Yang Ming finally breathed a sigh of relief. Although this chick was beautiful, she shouldn't be so oppressive, right? Yang Ming almost suffocated to death because of his breathing. When Yang Ming looked up at the bed, he realized that Lu Huamei was lying motionlessly on the bed with her eyes closed. Yang Ming was a little confused. What is Lu Huamei doing? Could it be that he had pushed her too hard and caused her to faint? Lu Huamei. Yang Ming called out tentatively. However, his eyes couldn't help but look at Lu Huamei's perfect body. Especially those proud peaks, which made Yang Ming's eyes linger. Lu Huamei waited for a long time, but Yang Ming didn't pounce on her. Just as she was a little puzzled, she heard Yang Ming call her name. She opened her eyes and saw Yang Ming looking at her lecherously. She immediately felt embarrassed and rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. You. Why are you looking at me? Why aren't you coming up? Lu Huamei's words were a little contradictory. The first half of the sentence was to question why Yang Ming was looking at her. The second half was to ask why Yang Ming didn't get on the bed. Was Lu Huamei seducing him or questioning him? Yang Ming could only smile bitterly. Even if my willpower is better, I don't need to be seductive like this, right? Lu Huamei, put on your clothes first. Let's talk about your matter first. Yang Ming shook his head and turned his gaze elsewhere. He wouldn't be able to hold himself back if he continued to look at her like this. You don't want to help me. Lu Huamei was a little disappointed when she saw Yang Ming's attitude. In her opinion, Yang Ming rejected her out of caution. Otherwise, wouldn't he be a fool if he didn't take advantage of her? Only Yang Ming would hesitate because he felt that his family's matters were more complicated. However, this also showed that Yang Ming was an upright person and not the kind of person who only knew how to take advantage of others. It's not that I don't want to help you. It's just that you look like this. How can I help you? Do you think that you can exchange my help by giving up your body? Yang Ming frowned. He didn't know why Lu Huamei suddenly had such a thought. However, when a person was driven into a corner, it was inevitable that they would do some bold actions that were beyond common sense. Although Yang Ming was confused, it wasn't that he couldn't understand. Isn't that so? Lu Huamei threw caution to the wind and didn't hide in front of Yang Ming. Since she had already decided to become Yang Ming's woman, Lu Huamei didn't plan to marry again. She also gave up the shyness in her heart and sat on the bed, exposing her body to Yang Ming's eyes. The only thing I can give up is my body. You were right in the afternoon. The cooperation benefits I promised are all illusory. Before success, there is nothing. But why don't you think about whether you are worthy of Jing Xiaolu when you do this? She has always wanted to help you and even said good things about you in front of me. Yang Ming said, you better put on your clothes now. Otherwise, when Xiaolu comes in later, I'm afraid she won't let me help you. So you are worried about Xiaolu. You have more conscience than other men. Lu Huamei listened to Yang Ming's words and couldn't help but laugh, but don't worry. Xiaolu taught me to do this. What? Xiaolu taught you? Yang Ming suddenly widened his eyes. At this moment, he suddenly remembered that he did seem to be in Jing Xiaolu's room just now. He originally thought that he came to the wrong room, but now that he thought about it carefully, he was using Jing Xiaolu's room card. How could he open someone else's room? So, all of this was arranged by Jing Xiaolu. No wonder she specially arranged for Secretary Li to wait downstairs and gave him a room card to let him in. It turned out that the person in the room was Lu Huamei and not Jing Xiaolu. However, after Yang Ming knew the truth, he didn't blame Jing Xiaolu. He only felt that she was a little ridiculous. However, he could only admire her actions. She must have paid a huge psychological price to make such a sacrifice for her friend. Lu Huamei nodded. Are you relieved now? Otherwise, how could I be in Xiaolu's room? Come on. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry after hearing Lu Huamei's words. Come on. Lu Huamei asked me to do it, right? If it were someone with a weaker psychological quality, they might have really pounced on her. However, Yang Ming also had a strong psychological quality. Naturally, he wouldn't be so impulsive so easily. He wasn't the hot-blooded young man back then. He had matured a lot in this year. Chapter 1888. However, Lu Huamei's stubborn behavior gave Yang Ming a headache. It was as if he wouldn't help her if he didn't want her anymore. Okay, write it down first. We'll talk about it again when the matter is settled, Yang Ming could only say. Ah. Then, are you willing to help me with all your strength? Lu Huamei hesitated after hearing Yang Ming's words. She wasn't sure if Yang Ming was being sincere or just being perfunctory. Why don't you take me first? You won't leave me alone if I'm your woman. Yang Ming seemed to be sincere when he said that the matter was settled. However, he seemed to be perfunctory when he said, we'll talk about it again. Okay. I'll help you with all my strength. Yang Ming was helpless because of Lu Huamei. He could only explain, I don't really want to do that today. You understand the reason, right? You don't want to. Lu Huamei was stunned. She really didn't think that this would happen. She didn't have much knowledge in this area. She only learned a little from TV series. However, she still didn't give up and asked, why don't you want to do it? Because I just, with Xiaolu this afternoon. You understand, right? So I don't want to do it now. Yang Ming lied to her. Oh, I see. Next time then. Lu Huamei was easy to fool. She was an idiot in this area. Therefore, she believed Yang Ming's words. In fact, Yang Ming already had a physiological reaction. Lu Huamei just didn't understand the knowledge. Okay, next time. Yang Ming nodded, put on your clothes now. Although Yang Ming was a little reluctant, he still knew that it wasn't good to look at Lu Huamei like this. Since I'm definitely your woman, then I don't need to put on my clothes. Lu Huamei always wanted to establish a relationship with Yang Ming so that Yang Ming could help her with all his strength. This. Yang Ming sighed, okay then. Go to bed first and cover yourself with the blanket. It's quite cold at night. Oh. Lu Huamei suddenly stood up, picked up Yang Ming's right hand, and put it on her chest. Ga. Yang Ming was shocked. The softness on his hand made him want to move away as if he had been electrocuted. He looked at Lu Huamei in disbelief. What are you doing? Didn't I say I don't want to, do it next time? Alright, now that you've touched me, I'm considered your woman. I can't marry anyone else. I'm no longer pure. You can't abandon me. Lu Huamei immediately beamed with joy after she was done with this. Yang Ming was speechless. This Lu Huamei's thoughts are really shocking. Previously, when he saw her methods in the business world, he felt that she was a strong girl. He didn't expect that her IQ was completely zero when it came to relationships. She had no experience at all. Instead, she was a little silly. Yang Ming thought to himself, sure enough, everyone has a weakness. Not everyone is good at everything. After doing all this, Lu Huamei went to bed happily and covered herself with the blanket. Hubby, you come too. Can I call you hubby? Lu Huamei originally wanted to get closer to Yang Ming, so she confirmed their relationship through the way she addressed him. However, she was afraid that Yang Ming would be unhappy after saying that. She didn't know what position Yang Ming placed her in. Was she a lover, a girlfriend, or a plaything? Up to you. Yang Ming was a little lazy to argue with her about these harmless questions. She could call him whatever she wanted. To be honest, Yang Ming was a soft-hearted person, but he wouldn't help just anyone who begged him. Wouldn't he be a living Buddha then? He wouldn't have to do anything else all day. The reason why he agreed to help Lu Huamei was because of Jing Xiaolu's plea and Lu Huamei's own attitude. Of course, the most important thing was that Yang Ming helped Lu Huamei. Jing Xiaolu now had a good friend who was also a strong helper by her side. Yang Ming couldn't guarantee that the company wouldn't encounter unsolvable problems after he left. He couldn't guarantee that Jing Xiaolu would be able to deal with them. However, with Lu Huamei's help and support, she would probably be able to get through the difficulties. However, the development of the situation was a little unexpected. Lu Huamei treated him as her man. This put Yang Ming in a difficult position. If Yang Ming wasn't going to Yunnan to carry out a mission, he wouldn't mind having an ambiguous relationship with a beauty like Lu Huamei. However, he wasn't even sure if he could come back after he left. What emotional debt would he owe her? Wouldn't he be harming her? However, Yang Ming was a little speechless when he saw a woman like Lu Huamei who had zero love IQ. Who knew if this chick would change her mind when the time came? Looking at her, it seemed like she was ready to sell herself. Oh, hubby, you will definitely help me, right? I'm yours from now on. You won't watch me get bullied, right? Lu Huamei had already thrown caution to the wind. Although she was a business operator, she didn't know how to please a man. Therefore, she was like a punching bag concubine at this moment, afraid that Yang Ming wouldn't care about her. Yang Ming sighed. Lu Huamei, who had removed her disguise, was really just an ordinary woman. Jing Xiaolu was right about this. He couldn't help but nod when he saw how pitiful she was. Tell me about your problem. I'll help if I can. What about the things that you can't help? Lu Huamei was about to cry when she heard Yang Ming's words. Sure enough, there was still a difference in treatment. If something happened to Jing Xiaolu, Yang Ming would definitely do everything to help her solve it, just like last time. However, when it came to himself, he would help if he could. If I can't help, I'll also find a way to help. Yang Ming had no choice but to say. And I knew you wouldn't treat me differently. Lu Huamei breathed a sigh of relief, then I'll say it. Therefore, Lu Huamei repeated what she said to Jing Xiaolu before until she said that she wanted Lu Hua's family to pay with their lives. Lu Huamei's request made Yang Ming frown. The things that Lu Huamei said before were not difficult in Yang Ming's opinion. It wasn't difficult to obtain control of the Jiangyan group. As long as Bao Sanli brought people over, he would use both the carrot and the stick, and offer a sufficient price. Those shareholders would either give up their shares or support Lu Huamei to become the chairman. However, killing Lu Hua's family put Yang Ming in a difficult position. It wasn't that he couldn't do it, but it was not worth it. If Lu Huamei was his wife, then it would be fine. She wouldn't talk nonsense. However, the problem was that she wasn't. Although he had a special identity, he couldn't just kill a few people for no reason, right? Wouldn't that be causing trouble for Xiao Bingbao? It was also possible to kill Lu Hua's family secretly. The problem was, would Lu Huamei leak the news? Looking at Yang Ming's frown, Lu Huamei was anxious. She also knew that her request was too difficult to fulfill. Was it that easy to kill Lu Hua? Lu Huamei also thought about hiring a professional killer, but she had never come into contact with this industry. Where could she find a professional killer? It was a complete dark industry. She didn't know anyone. Chapter 1889. I can't trust you enough to kill Lu Hua, Yang Ming said faintly. The other things are small matters. Ah. Lu Huamei was stunned. She didn't expect Yang Ming to frown because he couldn't trust her enough, not because the matter was difficult. From what he said, it was okay to kill Lu Hua, but he couldn't trust her. Lu Huamei was a little anxious. Then how can you trust me? Your identity is different from Xiaolu's. She won't betray me, but I can't guarantee that you won't leak the news, Yang Ming said realistically. How am I different? I'm also your woman. I've already signed and stamped my name. You also touched my breasts. It can't be changed. Lu Huamei hurriedly explained. Yang Ming was stunned. He then remembered that Lu Huamei had indeed said that she was his woman. He couldn't help but shake his head. Are you sure that what you said is true? Yang Ming hesitated and asked. Of course. I'm not pure anymore. I can't marry anyone else since I'm lying on the same bed as you. I can only follow you. Lu Huamei said matter-of-factly, I'm your woman in the future. My things are all yours. You can even write the Jiangyan Group's shares in your name. That's not necessary. Since you said so, then there's no problem, Yang Ming nodded and finally agreed. Yang Ming thought about it again and again and agreed. It was also because Yang Ming didn't actually say anything substantial to Lu Huamei. Lu Hua's death could be considered an accident. Not to mention Yang Ming doing it himself, even if Wang Xiaoyan's subordinates did it, there wouldn't be any evidence to investigate. Moreover, a one-track-minded person like Lu Huamei probably really believed that she was Yang Ming's woman and wouldn't change it in the future. Therefore, the possibility of her leaking the news was very small. The most important point was Yang Ming's identity. Lu Huamei was Yang Ming's woman. Although it was only in name, it was enough. Yang Ming had to deal with his family matters before carrying out the mission, right? Yang Ming could only go to Yunnan with peace of mind after the enemies at home were dealt with. Therefore, as long as Yang Ming grasped this reason, Xiao Bingbao could only help him deal with these problems. Not to mention that Lu Hua harmed Lu Huamei's father and wanted to scheme against Lu Huamei. That was even more heinous. Yang Ming had a reason to do it, and Xiao Bingbao had a right to handle it. You've agreed to it. Although Lu Huamei was a bit of an idiot when it came to relationships, she was not an idiot in other aspects. Her previous idiotic words and idiotic behavior were just nonsense that she did not know how to please Yang Ming. Now that she heard Yang Ming agree to everything, she suddenly felt a little incredulous. In her opinion, it was such a complicated matter. How could Yang Ming help her solve it so easily? Are these troubles not troublesome in his eyes? In Yang Ming's opinion, although he was an assassin, killing was a small matter after all. It was not a way to solve all problems. He couldn't just kill every enemy he encountered. Therefore, Yang Ming rarely used this method to solve problems if he didn't have a deep hatred. However, the conflict between Lu Hua and Lu Huamei could not be solved in an ordinary way. Lu Hua made Lu Huamei's father a vegetable. This conflict was irreconcilable. Therefore, in Yang Ming's opinion, he could only kill Lu Hua. But this was the simplest problem. If Lu Hua's family died, the other problems in the company would be small problems. Lu Huamei didn't have to worry about Lu Hua and Lu Zhenan fighting for power with her. It's a very simple matter. Don't go back these 2 days. Wait for news in the hotel. Yang Ming stood up from the bed and said, I'll leave first. Ah, you're leaving just like that? Aren't you going to stay with me for a while? Lu Huamei didn't know what they could do together, but she wanted Yang Ming to stay. She didn't have any feelings for Yang Ming. She had no feelings for him at first, but now she worshipped him. It could only be said that she had a good impression of him. She hadn't fallen in love with Yang Ming yet. However, since she had already decided that she was Yang Ming's woman, it didn't matter if she loved him or not. In Lu Huamei's opinion, she would definitely fall in love with Yang Ming after they were together for a long time. It didn't matter. Therefore, she was a little reluctant when Yang Ming wanted to leave. Although she didn't know what they could do together, she had seen on TV that women would try their best to make men stay. If they couldn't, it meant that they weren't charming enough. Lu Huamei had no lack of suitors, but she didn't have the heart to think about these things back then. Now that she wanted to think about these things, she had no experience at all. She didn't use any of the tricks that Jing Xiaolu taught her. Yang Ming said that he didn't want to, so she didn't know what to do. Therefore, she only hoped that Yang Ming could stay and spend more time with her. Okay, I'll leave first. Yang Ming glanced at Lu Huamei, hang out with Xiaolu more in the future. You two should support each other. Ah. Oh, okay. Lu Huamei nodded and agreed. She had misunderstood Yang Ming's meaning. Lu Huamei thought that Yang Ming was educating her. As Yang Ming's woman, she shouldn't fight for him and should get along well with him. This wasn't a problem for Lu Huamei. She was already grateful to Jing Xiaolu, so how could she fight for favor with her? Yang Ming meant that she should help Jing Xiaolu when she was in trouble. However, looking at Lu Huamei's expression, Yang Ming knew that she had misunderstood. He didn't explain further. He shook his head, turned around, and left the room. Yang Ming called Jing Xiaolu in the hotel's corridor. Yang Ming knew that Jing Xiaolu was definitely still in this hotel because Yang Ming saw Jing Xiaolu's BMW parked in the hotel's parking lot when he came just now. The phone rang a few times before it was connected. Jing Xiaolu's surprised voice came from the other side. It's over so soon. Don't tell me I drained you dry in the afternoon. Jing Xiaolu thought that Yang Ming couldn't hear it because she was whispering when she picked up the phone. However, the room was very quiet. Yang Ming's corridor was also very quiet, so Yang Ming heard Jing Xiaolu's words clearly. Yang Ming couldn't help but find it funny. What is Jing Xiaolu thinking? Ahem. Yang Ming coughed twice. Xiaolu, what did you do? Ugh. Hee, husband, don't be angry. I just wanted to help Sister Huamei. How is it? She's still a virgin, right? Jing Xiaolu asked with a smile. Among Yang Ming's women, Jing Xiaolu understood Yang Ming very well. She knew that Yang Ming wasn't really angry at this time, so she asked half-jokingly. Chapter 1890. What nonsense are you thinking in that little head of yours? How do I know if she is? Yang Ming snorted and said. Aw. You guys didn't. Jing Xiaolu was stunned. She immediately thought of the reason why Yang Ming called her so quickly. It turns out that Lu Huamei didn't succeed. Of course not. Yang Ming said, am I such a casual person? AI. Yeah. Jing Xiaolu sighed. Yeah. Yang Ming was stunned and asked in astonishment. Ugh. No. I mean, yeah, you are not such a casual person. Jing Xiaolu explained with a dry smile. Damn, you scared me to death, Yang Ming smiled bitterly. It seems that I thought too simply. If you were such a casual person, I would have succeeded long ago. Why would I go through so much trouble to be with you? Jing Xiaolu sighed. It seems that Sister Huamei's life is like this. It's just that she is so pitiful. Jing Xiaolu wanted to describe Lu Huamei as pitiful so that Yang Ming would be soft-hearted and help her. However, she was interrupted by Yang Ming before she could finish. Okay, you don't have to say any more. I know what you mean. Yang Ming said, I already promised to help her. Where are you? Let's talk when we meet. Oh yeah. Hubby, you promised. You are so nice. Jing Xiaolu immediately danced excitedly when she heard that Yang Ming promised, I am in room 305 opposite. Come and find me. Yang Ming looked up and saw that room 305 was right beside him. He hung up the phone helplessly. Just as he was about to knock on the door opened. Jing Xiaolu jumped out and clung on to Yang Ming. Hubby, you are so nice. You are finally willing to help Sister Huamei. Okay, let's talk inside. Yang Ming didn't want to be intimate with Jing Xiaolu at the door. Who knew if someone would pass by and see it? After hearing this, Jing Xiaolu quickly moved aside and entered the room with Yang Ming. Then, she closed the door of the room and said, Hubby, you can really hold back. Sister Huamei is such a delicate beauty. Don't you have any thoughts about her? Of course, I have thoughts, but I'm not an animal that thinks with the lower half of my body. Naturally, I won't be so impulsive. Yang Ming shook his head. I haven't calmed down yet. Let me calm down first. As he spoke, Yang Ming picked up Jing Xiaolu and threw her on the bed in the room. Jing Xiaolu immediately shouted for help. Okay, hubby. Can you tell me what happened between you and Sister Huamei first? I want to hear it. You can't listen even if you want to. Yang Ming glared at Jing Xiaolu. I'm like this now. Isn't it because of you? Ugh. Okay then. It seems that I have to work harder. If I perform well, can you forgive me? Jing Xiaolu begged. Hee hee. Yang Ming also couldn't do anything to Jing Xiaolu. He wasn't really angry with her. However, he really had to punish her now. He had to spank Jing Xiaolu's butt. After Jing Xiaolu surrendered, she glared at Yang Ming while panting, Why aren't you so powerful normally? Do you think it's because you saw Sister Huamei before? Ugh. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. Jing Xiaolu was right. Just now, he did fantasize about Lu Huamei. It was just that this matter was too embarrassing. It wasn't easy to talk about it. Hee hee, I knew it wasn't that you weren't interested. Jing Xiaolu said proudly. Now, tell me. What did you and Sister Huamei talk about? Yang Ming was caught by Jing Xiaolu. He could only tell Jing Xiaolu the truth about what happened between him and Lu Huamei. Otherwise, it really wouldn't be possible to explain it. Ha! You actually said that you didn't want to. You used this reason to brush off Sister Huamei. Jing Xiaolu looked at Yang Ming in disbelief. She felt that this reason was too weird. The most unbelievable thing was that Lu Huamei actually believed it. Yang Ming nodded. She doesn't seem to know anything. Ha 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 ha. Jing Xiaolu laughed out loud. I'm dying of laughter. Only Sister Huamei would fall for it. How could she believe it? Ha 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 ha. Yang Ming looked at Jing Xiaolu shaking with laughter. He was a little helpless. He coughed twice and said, Okay, since she stubbornly believes that she's my woman, that's also a good thing. At least she can accompany you more in the future and help you. Okay. Jing Xiaolu didn't think that Lu Huamei would fight with her for anything. Instead, she felt that it was good to have such a best friend. But what do you plan to do about Sister Huamei? I almost forgot when you mentioned it. Yang Ming nodded. I'll arrange it now. You. Really, you forgot about it just like that. Sister Huamei is really unlucky. She's already your woman, and you still treat her like this. Jing Xiaolu felt that it was unfair for Lu Huamei. I'm the unlucky one. There are so many things to do with a woman in name. Yang Ming shook his head. If I didn't want to find you a helper and was afraid that you wouldn't be able to handle things by yourself after I left, do you think I would care so much about her? Then you're really not tempted. Jing Xiaolu's heart moved. She was very touched. It turns out that Yang Ming did all this for her. Jing Xiaolu felt that she was so happy. Tempted? It would be a lie to say that I'm not tempted. However, that's also a normal desire for beauty. There's no love between us, Yang Ming said. If I didn't go on the mission, I wouldn't mind having something with her. However, there's no time now. I don't want to hurt her. And then hurry up and arrange it. Don't forget it later. Jing Xiaolu was very happy with Yang Ming's honesty. At least Yang Ming wouldn't lie to her. You care so much about Lu Huamei's matter. She just came to snatch your man. Yang Ming said with a wry smile. That's not snatching. I gave it to her voluntarily, okay? Otherwise, how could she have a chance? Jing Xiaolu naturally wouldn't admit it. Well, it doesn't matter. Yang Ming took out his phone and dialed Golden Bull's number directly. Golden Bull answered the phone quickly. Leader. Golden Bull saw Yang Ming's phone number and picked it up respectfully. Butler Jean, send someone over to help me create a traffic accident. Yang Ming decided to hand this matter over to the Charles family. There would be even less evidence to investigate if such a foreign assassin did it. Yang Ming also wanted to save Xiao Bingbao some trouble. Okay, leader. Golden Bull didn't ask anything and agreed without hesitation. I will send the information to you later. Arrange for a reliable person to come over, Yang Ming instructed. Leader, should I do it myself? Golden Bull asked respectfully. That's not necessary. Yang Ming said, right, the butterfly family has a Wonka gene. That young man is good. You can let him do it. Should I contact him or you? Chapter 1891. Yang Ming suddenly thought of Wang Kejin, so he suggested. Then I'll bring him along, Golden Bull agreed directly. At present, the Charles family had a comprehensive cooperation with the Butterfly family. Their assassin resources were also shared. After arranging this matter, Yang Ming was relieved. If a professional assassin like Golden Bull couldn't handle an ordinary person like Lu Hua's family, then he shouldn't be on the international assassin list. He should just go home and be a farmer. When Yang Ming made these arrangements, he didn't hide it from Jing Xiaolu. It should be because of his trust in Jing Xiaolu. Before Yang Ming left, he would definitely introduce Golden Bull to Jing Xiaolu and other women in case of emergency. After all, Golden Bull's power was not small. Husband, who were you calling just now? Are you looking for someone to kill Lu Hua? Jing Xiaolu asked excitedly. The foreign assassin organization is also my subordinate. Yang Ming felt that there was no need to hide it from Jing Xiaolu at this time, so he took this opportunity to tell her, he is currently the person in charge of the second largest assassin organization in the world. His name is Golden Bull, and he is my subordinate. He is absolutely loyal. After I leave, you can find him if you need anything. Originally, Jing Xiaolu was already happy that Yang Ming didn't hide it from her when he made the call. At this time, when she heard Yang Ming tell her such a secret, she was even more surprised. She stared at Yang Ming blankly and couldn't speak. After a while, Jing Xiaolu recovered from the shock and said, "No way. Husband, you are so awesome. Yang Ming nodded. I will tell you all my resources after I leave. This golden bowl is one of them. This is one of them. Jing Xiaolu was shocked. Husband, you, how are you so powerful? I can't accept it. Hee, but don't tell Lu Huamei about these things for the time being. I can't trust her yet, Yang Ming instructed. I know. I'm not stupid. Even if we're sisters, we can't talk about this. Let's talk about it after you've really won her over. Jing Xiaolu nodded, but her expression was still very excited. Yang Ming, you said that the world's second largest assassin organization is yours. Why do you still need to carry out a mission? Why don't you bring a group of assassins over? What can't you settle? Damn, the mission this time is a little special. It's not something that can be done with more people. Yang Ming immediately broke out in a sweat. If there are more people, wouldn't it be better if I brought a team of special forces over? It's more complicated this time. Oh, I'm actually the woman of the assassin group's boss now. I'm so happy. I, Jing Xiaolu, also have such a badass day. Jing Xiaolu giggled. She felt happy just thinking about it. Okay, don't laugh. Go to sleep. What time is it? Yang Ming pointed to the wall clock at the head of the bed. It's only 1 o'clock. It's not too late. Hubby, can you tell me more about you? Jing Xiaolu was so excited that she couldn't sleep. Okay, then what else do you want to know? Yang Ming couldn't help it. Since Jing Xiaolu wanted to talk, then he would talk. He didn't know if there would be another opportunity to talk like this in the future. If the world's second largest assassin organization is yours, then who is the world's largest assassin organization? Who is the most powerful assassin? Jing Xiaolu asked in one breath. It seemed that she was quite interested in the assassin industry. The world's largest assassin organization is the Butterfly family. They are also my subordinates because the only daughter of the Butterfly family is also my woman. Yang Ming felt that Jing Xiaolu should be able to get along well with Wang Xiaoyan. Wang Xiaoyan shouldn't be hostile to Jing Xiaolu, a girl who didn't fight for anything and was just a little vain. Ah. Really? It can't be, right? So powerful. Then who is your woman? Jing Xiaolu asked in surprise. She didn't expect that the world's largest assassin organization was also Yang Ming's. Wang Xiaoyan. You may have heard of her. She is Xiao Ying's friend. I will introduce her to you in the next few days, said Yang Ming. Okay. Jing Xiaolu nodded happily. That's great. Right, you haven't said who is the most powerful assassin? This. Yang Ming hesitated. This was his secret. Only Wang Xiaoyan knew about it. Should I tell Jing Xiaolu at this time? Undoubtedly, although the days with Jing Xiaolu weren't long, she had become one of his most trusted people. He was about to leave soon, so Yang Ming just hesitated a little and said his own matters. He is my master, the king of assassins. Don't tell this secret. Ah. Jing Xiaolu screamed excitedly and jumped high. She exclaimed, isn't my husband the most powerful assassin? Ah. I am so lucky. If anyone bullies me in the future, I will kill him directly. After Yang Ming listened to Jing Xiaolu's words, he suddenly had black lines on his head. Isn't this Jing Xiaolu too vicious? Kill someone who bullies me directly. Xiaolu, don't mess around. Yang Ming glared at her and lectured her. Am I not just boasting? I just said it casually. Jing Xiaolu said with some embarrassment, husband, I won't. You can rest assured. That's more like it. Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. If Jing Xiaolu were to mess around, it would be worrying enough. Fortunately, she just said it casually. Husband, then tell me. How did you become an assassin? I want to hear it. I want to know everything about you. Jing Xiaolu pestered Yang Ming again. Yang Ming simply didn't want to sleep. Since Jing Xiaolu wanted to hear it, then he would tell her. Thus, Yang Ming started talking about how he met Fang Tian when he first entered the detention center, and how he became his disciple. Jing Xiaolu listened until dawn. It was already noon when the two of them woke up. Jing Xiaolu didn't even attend the morning meeting. She died tragically. She quickly dressed up, said goodbye to Yang Ming, and rushed to the company. Yang Ming didn't expect Jing Xiaolu to be so serious about her career. While he was gratified, he shook his head. Actually, she didn't have to work so hard. Yang Ming didn't have anything to do at the moment. Instead, he went out of the room and went to room 302 opposite him. He opened the door with the room card. Lu Huamei had already woken up and was sitting on the bed in a daze. The laptop in front of her was open, but it had entered automatic standby mode. He didn't know what she was thinking about. Lu Huamei only recovered from her daze when she heard the door open. She looked up and saw that it was Yang Ming. She smiled shyly. You. Did you miss me? Pfft. Yang Ming almost laughed out loud. Isn't this Lu Huamei too funny? She asked me this as soon as I entered the room. Chapter 1892. You, what's wrong? What are you laughing at? Lu Huamei was stunned and asked. Nothing, I don't want to for the time being. Yang Ming couldn't help but shake his head. Give me the information on Lu Hua, Lu Jinan, and Lu Zhiqiao. Oh, okay. Lu Huamei put away her listless expression and returned to her usual capable self when she heard Yang Ming talking about business. Are you going to do it? As my woman, you just need to stay here and don't ask so many questions. Yang Ming had to put on airs. Otherwise, Lu Huamei might turn the tables once she returned to her strong woman appearance. Sure enough, Lu Huamei frowned, but soon relaxed. She knew her current identity, so she whispered, I'm sorry, husband. I won't ask in the future. Hurry up and give me the information. Yang Ming didn't continue. And, it's all here. Husband, take a look. This is the information I collected. Lu Huamei put away her strong woman appearance and became like a little wife. Yang Ming looked at it. The information collected by Lu Huamei was really complete. From Lu Hua's living habits to work hours, the entertainment venues he usually went to, the residence of his lover, and so on, everything was detailed. Lu Jinan's information was the same. This saved Yang Ming a lot of time for investigation. It seemed that Lu Huamei was already planning to kill Lu Hua's family, but she didn't know where to start. You wanted to kill them long ago? Asked Yang Ming. But I didn't have the chance or the channel. I'm just a weak woman. I really don't know what to do. Lu Huamei didn't deny it. I asked the private investigator to investigate this. But it's useless after the investigation because it's impossible for the private investigator to help me kill people. Not bad. The information is very useful. Yang Ming packed the information and sent it to a mailbox. This was Golden Bull's private mailbox. After less than half a minute, Yang Ming's phone rang. Golden Bull's voice came from the other side. Leader, the information has been received. It's very detailed. It saves time for investigation. And, when will it be done? Asked Yang Ming. Today or tomorrow? Golden Bull said, at the latest, no later than the day after tomorrow. We're only staying here for 3 days and we've already booked our itinerary. Okay, contact me when you're done. Yang Ming nodded and hung up the phone. Lu Huamei looked at Yang Ming in surprise. She originally thought that even if Yang Ming helped, it would take a long planning cycle. However, looking at Yang Ming's appearance, it seemed that he had arranged everything immediately. That tone of voice was also that of a subordinate. It didn't seem like he was asking for help at all. Most importantly, the room was very quiet. Lu Huamei heard the Golden Bull address Yang Ming as leader. This was a term that subordinates would use to address their superiors. What was Yang Ming's status? How capable was he? These were all Lu Huamei's questions. However, Lu Huamei knew that she wasn't qualified to ask now. She was smart enough not to ask. However, she was even more curious and worshipped Yang Ming. Lu Huamei had been forcing herself to fall in love with Yang Ming in her heart. Therefore, the more Yang Ming performed, the easier it was for her to accept Yang Ming. Okay, wait for the news. Yang Ming casually put away the phone. Lu Hua's family is dead, so no one will fight with you. The Jiangyan group is yours. This problem wasn't a problem in Yang Ming's eyes at all. It was easy to solve. And, thank you. Lu Huamei didn't know why, but she suddenly trusted Yang Ming inexplicably. It could also be that she forced herself to like Yang Ming. In short, Lu Huamei felt that this matter was very reliable. Yang Ming didn't say anything else. He turned around and left. He was going to meet Wang Xiaoyan and introduce Jing Xiaolu to her. Then, he would visit Zhao Ying on the way. After all, he had confirmed his relationship with her. He had to visit her. Yang Ming wanted to call Wang Xiaoyan after leaving Lu Huamei's room, but his phone rang first. Yang Ming took it out and saw that it was Xiao Qing's number. He quickly picked it up. Sister Xiao Qing, do you miss me? Yang Ming, where are you? Xiao Qing didn't joke with Yang Ming. Instead, she asked anxiously. I'm at the hotel. What's wrong, Sister Xiao Qing? Did something happen? Yang Ming was shocked and asked quickly. If you don't have anything to do, come to the school quickly. The school wants to expel you, said Xiao Qing. Expel me? What's going on? You're the dean, and isn't Godfather the vice principal? Who has the guts to expel me? Yang Ming felt that it was a little inconceivable. Besides, didn't I ask for leave? It's the school's other vice principal. Xiao Qing sighed and explained, the school's principal is about to retire, and Godfather and the other vice principal are popular candidates to take over. That vice principal with the surname Su somehow found out about your matter and suddenly proposed to expel you in the principal's office. Although Godfather protects you, Vice Principal Su wants to use this matter to make an issue out of it. If Godfather protects you, then he will be abusing his power for personal gain. He won't be able to compete for the principal's position. It can be said that he has sinister intentions. Yang Ming frowned. He wasn't a person who liked to cause trouble, but he didn't like others to find trouble with him behind his back. He didn't like others making an issue out of him even more. I'm going now. Yang Ming sneered. If you want to make an issue out of me, you have to have that ability first. Although she had applied for leave, there was a reasonable reason for it. She had also written a leave request and obtained the approval of the tutor. Wasn't it too arbitrary to expel her just like that? Although the university was nothing to Yang Ming, it didn't matter whether he went or not. Yang Ming went to Yunnan to perform a mission, and he didn't know if he could come back. Even if he could come back, he would have to live in seclusion in Island X. However, Yang Ming was unhappy that the vice principal made an example out of him for his own benefit. Yang Ming called Little Wang. Little Wang had already woken up and was waiting for Yang Ming in the room while watching TV. When he received a call from Yang Ming, he went downstairs to prepare to drive. After Yang Ming got in the car, he ordered Little Wang to drive in the direction of the university, in Songjiang Gongqing University, in the vice principal's office, Fan Jinja sat on the sofa proudly and chatted with a bald middle-aged man. "Fourth uncle, do you think we can expel Yang Ming this time?" "There should be no problem." This fourth uncle was Vice Principal Su. He sneered and said, "It's best not to expel him. Then, Lu Weishan can't compete with me. The position of the principal is mine." "That's a good thing, but that kid Yang Ming is taking advantage of it." Although Fan Jinja felt that it was a good thing that his fourth uncle became the principal, he was unwilling to let Yang Ming take advantage of it. Chapter 1893. How is that possible? When I become the principal, I can do whatever I want to him. By then, Lu Weishan won't be able to protect him. Vice Principal Su snorted and said overbearingly. "That's right. Humph, he actually snatched my woman. Fourth uncle must teach him a lesson." Fan Jinja nodded and said, "Don't worry. I will take care of this. Even if I don't expel him, I will give him a punishment and let him reflect in front of the whole school. I will make him lose face." Vice Principal Su said. "Hee, fourth uncle is still the best." Fan Jinja said flatteringly. Fan Jinja was bullied by Yang Ming. He had no other choice, so he set his eyes on his uncle who was the vice principal. Although they were distant relatives, Fan Jinja had always been filial to his fourth uncle, so their relationship was quite close. Fan Jinja thought carefully. Since he was not Yang Ming's opponent, he would suppress Yang Ming in school. This way, Yang Ming could only suffer in silence. So, Fan Jinja found his fourth uncle. When his fourth uncle heard Yang Ming's name, he checked the files and inquired with the tutor. He found out that Yang Ming was actually Lu Weishan's godson. This was great. He was worried about how to attack Lu Weishan. This gave him a good opportunity. Yang Ming's long absence from school was a small matter, but Vice Principal Su wanted to make an issue out of it. He pointed out in the principal's office that this was caused by Lu Weishan's indulgence. Otherwise, how could a normal student take such a long absence? Even if there was something wrong, there was no such way, right? Besides, what could be more important than school? Therefore, Vice Principal Su made things difficult during the office meeting just now. Now, Lu Weishan was also in a dilemma. He was ready to call Yang Ming over for questioning. "Just wait. When Yang Ming comes, I will stand up for you." Vice Principal Su patted his chest and promised, "You go back first. Don't stay here. It won't be good if others see it." It was a sensitive period now. Vice Principal Su was also afraid that Lu Weishan would know about his relationship with Fan Jinja and make an issue out of it. That would not be worth it. In reality, he was gauging the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a villain. Lu Weishan disdained to use such methods. Lu Weishan had become the principal by relying on the prestige of the academic community, unlike Vice Principal Su, who had become the principal through the administrative route. "Okay, then I'll take my leave first, fourth uncle." Fan Jinja was overjoyed when he heard this. "Yang Ming is going to be fired soon. Let's see if you can still pretend in front of me this time. When you're fired, you won't have a chance to get in touch with Zhao Ying. At that time, I'll continue to launch my love attack. I don't believe that I can't win over Zhao Ying." Thinking of this, Fan Jinja was extremely happy. He walked out of fourth uncle's office happily. In order to prevent Lu Weishan and Yang Ming from colluding and giving advice to Yang Ming, Vice Principal Su came to Lu Weishan's office after Fan Jinja left. He said to Lu Weishan, "Vice Principal Lu, let's go to the conference room together. We'll wait for Yang Ming to come and see what he has to say. Then, let's go." Lu Weishan said faintly. He had always looked down on Vice Principal Su. He was good at flattering people, but he was far behind when it came to knowledge. In the conference room, the school's principal was also there, but he didn't care much about the school's affairs. He was going to retire soon, so there was no need to offend people. At this moment, he was also watching the battle between Vice Principal Su and Lu Weishan. No matter who replaced him, it had little to do with him. Yang Ming soon came to the school and saw Xiao Qing in her office. When Xiao Qing saw Yang Ming, she stood up hurriedly. This incident happened suddenly. Vice Principal Su deliberately went against Godfather. You go and explain. We have leave slips here. As Xiao Qing spoke, she took out a stack of leave slips and was ready to go to the principal's conference room with Yang Ming. It's okay. Sister Xiao Qing, don't worry. I will definitely not implicate Godfather. I will solve this matter myself. Yang Ming nodded indifferently. You are going to be expelled from the school, and you still don't care. If Godfather protects you this time, he will definitely be attacked by Vice Principal Su. If he doesn't protect you, can you still go to school? Xiao Qing shook her head with some worry. Do you think this is a small matter? He will definitely make a fuss about it if you ask for leave for so long. I'm just asking for leave. I'm not going to do anything bad. I've also asked for leave. What can he do? Yang Ming said faintly, if he really wants to do something, then I don't mind playing with him. Xiao Qing sighed. She didn't know why Yang Ming was so confident. Do you have a countermeasure? Sister Xiao Qing, are you still worried about me? Yang Ming winked at Xiao Qing and smiled. Well, then you have to be careful. Vice Principal Su is not friendly. Xiao Qing reminded him. Yang Ming and Xiao Qing came to the principal's conference room together. Vice Principal Su sat there majestically. When he saw Yang Ming come in, he didn't wait for him to speak and asked directly, Yang Ming, right? You haven't come to school for so long. Where did you go to play? Vice Principal Su's sentence defined Yang Ming as skipping class to play. This was also to weave a charge for Yang Ming so that he could be expelled later. Are you Vice Principal Su? Yang Ming glanced at the person who asked in front of him. Although he didn't know him, he was afraid that this person was definitely Vice Principal Su. You said that I went out to play. I don't understand a bit. Are you a clairvoyant or a clairvoyant? How do you know that I went out to play? Cough cough. After being rebuked by Yang Ming, Vice Principal Su's face suddenly became ugly. You skipped class for no reason. No matter what you did, it is not allowed. Do you still put the school's discipline in your eyes? You see, which student is like you, skipping class for so long? Vice Principal Su, if I remember correctly, I asked for leave. I wrote a leave request, and the department approved it. How can it be called skipping class for no reason? Asked Yang Ming. Leave request. What leave did you ask for? Let me see the leave request. Vice Principal Su sneered in his heart. I was afraid that you wouldn't talk about the leave request. This time, you brought the leave request and involved Xiao Qing. Lu Weishan's family violated the rules, and Xiao Qing violated the rules. Before Yang Ming spoke, Xiao Qing spoke first. She put the leave request in her hand on Vice Principal Su's table and said, Vice Principal Su, Yang Ming's leave request is here. It was approved by our department. There is no such thing as skipping class for no reason. Chapter 1894. There is a leave request. Then I would like to see what excuse you are using to ask for leave. Vice Principal Su said faintly. He took the leave request that Xiao Qing handed over and looked at it disdainfully. Yang Ming frowned. This Vice Principal Su was obviously looking for trouble. Even if there was no problem with the leave request, he would probably find a problem. However, Yang Ming wasn't afraid because he still had a trump card in his hand. If this Vice Principal Su wanted to make trouble, then Yang Ming didn't mind making a fool of him. Sure enough, when Vice Principal Su looked at the leave request, he read, leave for 1 week because of something, leave for 10 days because of something, leave for 15 days because of something. Oh. Is this enough? You have a lot of things to do. Everyone has things to do. Yang Ming said faintly, I think Vice Principal Su can't have nothing to do, right? It's okay to have something to do, but what can be more important than going to school? Vice Principal Su didn't expect Yang Ming to dare to ask him. He suddenly became angry. He slammed the table and said, I see that there is a problem with your leave request. What do you mean by something to do? If there is something, why don't you write it on the leave request? Xiao Qing, how are you the dean of the department? Are you covering up for him? If he writes that he has something to do, you give him leave. If other students want to skip class and say that they have something to do, will you give them leave too? Don't use this as a pretext to make a fuss. When Yang Ming saw that Vice Principal Su actually wanted to attack Xiao Qing, he was a little unhappy. You are talking about my problem. It is best not to link it to others. Be careful not to become a public enemy. What are you talking about? What do you mean by this student? When Vice Principal Su saw that Yang Ming talked back, he was even angrier. What I said is normal. I am the one who asked for the leave. If you have something to say, just say it to me. Don't say such useless things. Yang Ming said coldly. Wow, I have never seen a student like you. You made a mistake but you don't admit it. You dare to control me. Vice Principal Su pointed at Yang Ming and said to the school's principal, Principal, you see this? This student was already so mischievous. Not only did he cheat to ask for leave to go out and play, he still didn't know how to repent. If I don't expel him today, I won't be the principal anymore. The principal didn't say anything. Although Yang Ming's attitude wasn't good, the principal knew that Vice Principal Su was using this as an excuse to attack Lu Weishan. Therefore, he didn't want to participate in this kind of thing. He was about to retire. Participating in this kind of unnecessary dispute was simply asking for trouble. Ha! The headmaster didn't speak, but Yang Ming laughed first. I want to see how you are going to expel me. I didn't do anything wrong, so why are you expelling me? It doesn't matter to me whether you become the vice principal or not, but if you want to expel me, you have to give me a solid reason. Good. Good. Vice Principal Su's face turned green with anger. If I don't give you a reason, I'm afraid you won't accept it. Then let me ask you, what did you do when you asked for leave? What did I do when I asked for leave? There's no need to report to you, right? I asked for leave to do my own things. Otherwise, why would I ask for leave? Yang Ming said faintly, everyone has the right to privacy. Don't tell me you don't know that. Right to privacy. Do you know what your identity is now? Your identity is a student, so your main task is to study. You doing things other than studying is not a proper job. Since you don't want to say what you did, then I can only treat it as you doing things that have nothing to do with studying. Okay, I'm informing you now that you are expelled. Vice Principal Su said in one breath. I didn't tell you because there are confidentiality rules. What I did can't be said casually. Yang Ming said faintly, I don't know why you don't want to let me go. Our department head didn't say anything. What do you mean by this? Are you targeting me, or do you have other motives? Confidentiality rules. Who do you think you are? Are you a spy or a spy? Are you in the intelligence business? Vice Principal Su listened to Yang Ming's words as if he heard the funniest thing. He laughed. Not only am I going to expel you, but I will also hold your department head responsible. She is derelict in her duty. It just so happens that I have a relative who is also in the computer science department. After taking Xiaoqing down, I can let my relative replace her. It's really killing two birds with one stone. Vice Principal Su was proud. I really killed two birds with one stone, killing two birds with one stone. What did I do when I asked for leave? Do you really want to know? Yang Ming asked faintly. It's fine if you don't say it. I already said that you have been expelled. Vice Principal Su said proudly. Since you want to know so much, I still can't tell you. Yang Ming shook his head. If you really want to know, I can only ask for instructions from the higher-ups. Ask for instructions from the higher-ups? What do you mean? What nonsense are you talking about? Vice Principal Su was stunned. He didn't understand what Yang Ming meant. At this time, Yang Ming took out two IDs from his pocket and put them in front of Vice Principal Su. Who am I? It is written very clearly here. But I still can't say what I did when I asked for leave. Vice Principal Su saw Yang Ming's two IDs and couldn't help but be stunned. But when he saw one of them clearly, his face changed a little. Although he didn't recognize the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's ID, he still recognized the ID belonging to the Army Intelligence Department. At his level, he could naturally see the authenticity of the ID. So, Vice Principal Su was stunned at the time and didn't know what to do. He thought that by using Lu Weishan, his godson, he could achieve his goal. But he didn't expect things to change. Yang Ming took out two IDs. Yang Ming revealed his identity at this time. In fact, he had considered it. He was also prepared to go through the suspension procedures in these few days. It was impossible to take a one-year suspension without special circumstances. So, he was also prepared to let Xia Bingbao negotiate with the school. It would be best if he didn't take a suspension and just asked for leave. He could even graduate early. That would be the best. So, sooner or later, his identity would be made public. These few days wouldn't make much of a difference. This Vice Principal Su was obviously targeting him, which also made Yang Ming annoyed. He wanted to make a fool of himself. His leave was complete, but Vice Principal Su didn't let him go. He turned a deaf ear to those students who skipped class all day to rent accommodation in the off-campus internet cafe. Was this a form of revenge? You are from the army. Vice Principal Su was very surprised by Yang Ming's identity. He couldn't figure it out. Isn't Yang Ming just an ordinary college student? How did he become a member of the army in a blink of an eye? Chapter 1895. Lu Weishan was also very surprised. He didn't expect that Yang Ming actually had such an identity. On the contrary, Xiaoqing knew a lot about Yang Ming, so she wasn't too surprised. She just glared at Yang Ming and complained that he hid it from her. You can say that, but you guessed it before. I'm an agent. Although I have a military identity, I don't belong to the army. Yang Ming said with a smile, so, any mission I perform is confidential. Forgive me for not being able to explain it to you one by one. If you must understand, I can only report to my superior. As for what you said, is the school's matter more important or my matter more important? I can only say that this depends on how you interpret it. Vice Principal Su's sweat immediately came down. It seemed that Yang Ming's identity should also be confidential. He had to ask again and again before Yang Ming said his identity. And Yang Ming's identity was special. He was the kind of secret agent. In this way, didn't I make a mistake? If the superior really investigated, then it wouldn't be good. If I really did it for the good of the school and for the good of Yang Ming and inadvertently knew about Yang Ming's identity, then it would be easy to handle. But I obviously retaliated for my personal interests. As long as the superior sent someone to do a simple investigation, they would be able to find the truth of the matter. At that time, even if I wanted to hide it, I couldn't hide it. As for whether you still want to expel me, I can't do anything about it. I can only let my superior negotiate with the school. Yang Ming said faintly, Vice Principal Su, I have finished my words. I will go first. My superior will contact you. This. Vice Principal Su looked at Yang Ming and didn't know what to say. He knew that this time he really got into trouble. Looking at the leave request in his hand, he had a bigger headache. If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have found this trouble. Now, it's great. Don't talk about competing with Lu Weishan for the principal position. It's hard to say if I can continue to sit in the position of the vice principal. Although Lu Weishan didn't speak, he was relieved in his heart. He didn't really care if he could become the headmaster. As long as Yang Ming was fine, it was fine. Now, it seemed that this little fellow had exceeded his expectations. The principal, who had been silent all this time, spoke at this time. He sneered, stood up, and said, Vice Principal Su, you are in charge of student Yang Ming's affairs. You should be in charge until the end. But he is serving the country. You should know your place. Vice Principal Su's face was dark, and he sat there silently. He really didn't know what to say. He blamed Fan Jinja in his heart. He was really looking for trouble. If he didn't mention Yang Ming, would he be able to use him to attack Lu Weishan? However, it was too late to regret now. There was no medicine for regret in this world. Vice Principal Su could only brace himself and explain, Principal, I am doing this for the sake of the students. After leaving the principal's conference room, Yang Ming called Xia Bingbao and told him about the school's affairs. Xia Bingbao naturally agreed. In his opinion, this was a trivial matter. At 6:00 in the evening, on a highway leading to a suburban villa in Jiangyan City, an Audi A8L overturned into a gully next to the highway. The car flipped over more than 20 times. The car caught fire and caused the fuel tank to explode. None of the 3 people in the car survived. The passengers in the car were Lu Hua, Lu Zhinan, and Lu Zhiqiao. In the hotel room, Lu Huamei watched the emergency news broadcast on the news channel. She was so excited that her eyes widened. Her hands gripped the corner of the quilt on the bed tightly. Although this car accident was classified as an accident, Lu Huamei knew that this was not an accident. Yang Ming's subordinate really did it. Moreover, he did it very discreetly. This was something that only a professional assassin could do. Although Lu Huamei did not know how Yang Ming's subordinate did it, the result was good. At this moment, Lu Huamei finally understood why Yang Ming didn't seem to care about the matter that troubled her so much. It turned out that it was so easy to truly solve it. The order that was issued in the morning was completed in the afternoon. Moreover, it was done neatly without a trace of sloppiness. At this moment, Lu Huamei's phone rang. It was Yang Ming calling. Hubby. Lu Huamei pursed her lips. She used to compromise a little, but now she truly worshipped Yang Ming. She even feared him a little. The ability that Yang Ming displayed was completely beyond Lu Huamei's expectations. Did you see the news? Yang Ming frowned when he heard Lu Huamei call him that, but he did not correct her. I saw it. Thank you. Lu Huamei's thank you came from the bottom of her heart. She had her revenge. She had finally gotten her revenge. Moreover, the group would definitely fall into Lu Huamei's hands once Lu Hua's family died. Lu Huamei would definitely become the group's chairman. I don't need to do anything for the rest, right? Yang Ming asked. You can tell Jing Xiaolu how much money you need. However, I'm too lazy to intervene in your group's internal affairs. I don't have the time to intervene either. I can do all of this. Lu Huamei did not want Yang Ming to look down on her. If she could not handle things until now, then she was too incompetent. Okay. Yang Ming said. I may have to leave for a while. I'll be with Jing Xiaolu and support each other. Don't worry. I, Lu Huamei, am already Yang Ming's woman. Then, the money in my hands is also yours. Jing Xiaolu and I will not share it, Lu Huamei said firmly. She was a person who kept her word. Moreover, she also thought that being Yang Ming's woman was really a happy thing. If there was trouble, she did not have to worry about it. Yang Ming could shelter her from the wind and rain. Yang Ming did not say anything more and hung up the phone. Xia Bingbao quickly solved the problem in Yang Ming's school. Vice Principal Su's act of using his power for personal revenge was still investigated. Although it was not to the extent of expelling him, he was not suitable to be a vice principal. He was assigned to the school's research institute as an idle vice director. It was equivalent to letting him retire with dignity. Fan Jinja naturally did not know the secret. After his fourth uncle was transferred, he hated Fan Jinja and would not see him again. Therefore, Fan Jinja only thought that his fourth uncle did not win against Yang Ming's godfather, Lu Weishan. While he was unhappy, he was also thinking about how to retaliate against Yang Ming. Feng Juning was Fan Jinja's underling. He was Fan Jinja's high school buddy. However, unlike Fan Jinja, who was admitted to university and studied as a graduate student, he started a small business after graduating from high school. However, this business was not a legal business. Chapter 1896. Feng Juning opened an audio and video club to sell pornographic CDs. Later, it was shut down by the Bureau of Industry and Commerce. Not only was he fined, but he was also sent to the police station. After he was released, Feng Juning had nothing, so he turned to his high school buddy, Fan Jinja. Fan Jinja had just set up a company, so he needed someone to follow him around. It was better to use someone familiar, so he got Feng Juning to his side. Although Feng Juning was not very capable, he had a lot of ideas. He also helped Fan Jinja's company gain a lot of benefits. At least, Feng Juning was good at tax evasion. Fan Jinja didn't manage to mess with Yang Ming, so he sat in the office gloomily. A while ago, not only did he have to pay a lot of money because Yang Ming made up some nonsense about a vengeful spirit, but he was also beaten up by Yang Ming's driver, Little Wang. This made Fan Jinja's anger towards Yang Ming reach the extreme. Brother Zhe, what's wrong with you? I saw you sulking in the office all morning. What happened? Asked Feng Juning. Don't mention it. I'm so unlucky. Fan Jinja shook his head. Brother Zhe, what's the matter? Tell me and I'll help you figure it out. Feng Juning asked, Don't forget, my name is Feng Juning. Why? Because I can do anything. Right, I forgot about you, the think tank. Fan Jinja nodded, then I'll tell you. Here's the thing. Do you remember the Yang Ming I told you about before? I remember. Didn't you ask your fourth uncle's vice principal to deal with him? Why? He's not easy to deal with. Feng Juning naturally knew about Yang Ming. He knew about the dispute between Fan Jinja and Yang Ming very well. The idea of asking his fourth uncle to deal with Yang Ming was his idea. Don't mention it. My fourth uncle didn't win against Yang Ming's godfather, Lu Weishan. He was transferred to a research institute under the school to retire. Fan Jinja shook his head. it seems that it's impossible to deal with Yang Ming through the school. This time, his godfather will definitely be the principal. We can't do anything. This is really difficult. Feng Juning frowned. Logically, his girlfriend should be angry after knowing about Zhao Ying. Why would she ask someone to beat you up? This was something that Feng Zhou couldn't figure out. He felt that there was something strange going on, but he couldn't figure it out. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, S. What a lunatic. Fan Jinja scolded angrily. How about we don't play these dirty tricks anymore? Calm. What kind of tricks? Fan Jinja was stunned and asked with some doubts. How about this? You and Yang Ming have a challenge. You challenge Yang Ming. Make an agreement that whoever loses will stay away from Zhao Ying in the future. Feng Juning said after thinking about it. I challenge Yang Ming. Fan Jinja shook his head immediately. You don't know. That Yang Ming is also very powerful. The school's Taekwondo club's president and vice president were beaten to a pulp. How can I be his opponent? We have to play some tricks here. Feng Juning said with a smile, although you challenged him openly, you didn't say that you would accept the challenge personally. When the time comes, you can find a master to fight with him. He can't say anything. As long as we are careful and play a word game with him, he can only accept the challenge. Yeah. That's a good idea. When Fan Jinja heard it, he suddenly felt that this method was feasible, so he patted Feng Juning's shoulder and said with appreciation, Juning, you are really capable. That's right. Feng Juning nodded. Brother Zhe, we can add a more ruthless condition at that time. The loser not only has to stay away from Zhao Ying, but also has to strip naked and run around the playground. Oh. Fan Jinja was stunned. Run around naked. Yeah, Brother Zhe. Think about it, if Yang Ming were to run around naked, how would he have the face to continue staying in this school? Won't he be laughed at by his classmates when he goes out? Even if his face is big, he can't stand it. He can only transfer schools by then. Feng Juning laughed. Damn. Juning, your idea is ruthless. But I'm afraid that Yang Ming won't agree. Fan Jinja was a little worried that Yang Ming would not accept the challenge. Don't worry about this. We can hype it up on the campus BBS first. If he doesn't accept the challenge, doesn't it mean that he is afraid? Then he will be even more embarrassed. Even if we can't achieve the ultimate goal, we can humiliate him and let Brother Zhe vent your anger. Feng Juning said indifferently, as for how to make Yang Ming leave Zhao Ying, we will think of a way next time. Anyway, isn't Brother Zhe's ultimate goal this time to teach Yang Ming a lesson? That's true. Fan Jinja nodded. In this way, we have nothing to lose. It seems that this idea is good. Then it's settled. By the way, Yang Ming's skills are not weak. He can even defeat the president of the Taekwondo club. Ordinary people can't be his opponent. Where can we find someone who can defeat Yang Ming? Since I have the confidence to come up with this idea, I naturally have the confidence to find this person. Feng Juning smiled mysteriously. I have a distant relative who fights in the underground. He is very famous in the southern V city. His name is Feng Xibiao. As long as we can afford it, he will definitely help us fight. Really? That's great. Fan Jinja heard that he was an underground fighter. He must be very powerful. Although he had not come into contact with that industry, he had heard a little about it. The people who fought in the underground were all fearless. They could die in the ring at any time, so these people were also quite fierce. Not to mention an ordinary student like Yang Ming, even a national-level Taekwondo master might not be his opponent. Because they did not follow the rules when they fought, it was a life-and-death battle. So, with such a master, Fan Jinja was not worried that he would lose. Of course, although we don't have much contact, we are relatives after all. We can still contact each other. Feng Juning nodded. Money is not a problem. The key is, what if he kills Yangming? You know, isn't it illegal to kill someone? Fan Jinja asked with some worry. It's okay. I will tell him not to hit too hard. People like them know their limits. At most, they will injure him, but they won't kill him. Feng Juning said, besides, he will be the one who kills him. What does it have to do with us? Chapter 1897. That's true. We just invited him to fight. What does it have to do with us if he accidentally injures someone? Thinking of this, Fan Jinja actually hoped that Feng Xibiao would kill Yang Ming. Because if he killed Yang Ming, he would be done with it once and for all. However, he also knew that this was just wishful thinking. Even if he wanted to, Feng Xibiao wouldn't agree. It didn't matter if someone was killed in an underground fight, but if someone was killed in public, it would be a big deal. Feng Juning was indeed Feng Juning. He quickly contacted his distant relative. Although they were relatives, the other party was not hesitant. He was willing to fight, but the appearance fee was 200,000 yuan. Although Fan Jinja was a little distressed, he agreed when he thought that he could get rid of Yang Ming. After finding the person to fight, the next step was to create hype on the school's BBS. Feng Juning spent money to hire some idle young people in the internet cafe and began to post on the school's BBS. Soon, Fan Jinja's post became a hot post. Fan Jinja's post was written by Feng Zhou. It was written very hot-bloodedly and passionately, but it was also very skillful. It directly stated that he wanted to challenge Yang Ming. The loser not only had to run naked, but also stay away from Zhao Ying. However, it did not say that Fan Jinja would personally fight with Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't know about the battle post that was trending on the school's BBS. Although Yang Ming did not pay attention to it, others were very concerned about it. Yang Ming was a well-known figure in Songjiang Industry University. Previously, he beat up the president and vice president of the Taekwondo club by himself. This was already a very badass legend. Later, he performed a knife-throwing performance at the school's art festival, which made Yang Ming even more popular. Originally, Fan Jinja also hired a bunch of people to hype up Feng Zhou's post. However, the development of the matter was beyond his expectations. The challenge post did not require much effort from his own people, and countless people had already replied to support it. This was a good sign as it could force Yang Ming to respond. However, what made Fan Jinja depressed was that most of these students were supporting Yang Ming. This was because many of them were optimistic about Yang Ming. They felt that Fan Jinja was a fool for daring to challenge Yang Ming. Was he courting death? It was such an idiotic behavior that could not be any more idiotic. Motherfucker, these little brats are actually supporting Yang Ming. I didn't expect Yang Ming to be so popular. Fan Jinja looked at the replies on the battle post gloomily. Although Yang Ming had yet to respond, many people had predicted that Fan Jinja would definitely lose. Hey, what do they know? Feng Zhou smiled and said, they are all a bunch of ignorant people. Brother Zhe, why should you lower yourself to their level? That's true, but I still feel a little uncomfortable. Looking at these posts makes me feel annoyed. Why don't we let our gunners also post and support my victory? Fan Jinja suggested. No, you can't do that. Feng Zhou quickly shook his head when he heard it. Brother Zhe, we don't need to do that. Why? No one knows that we did it anyway. Fan Jinja asked in confusion. Brother Zhe, what's the old saying? The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Feng Zhou waved his hand and explained, think about it. Now that everyone is supporting Yang Ming's popularity has reached the peak. Even Yang Ming thought that he would definitely win. In the end, we suddenly defeated him. How big is the gap? How big is the gap in the hearts of his supporters? They will definitely not be able to accept it. The person they are optimistic about has lost. This is simply a great shame. And in this way, Yang Ming will probably not have the face to stay in this school. He was originally a high and mighty figure, but he suddenly fell and became a loser. He will definitely be ashamed and won't have the face to compete with you for Zhao Ying. Fan Jinja patted Feng Zhou's shoulder in surprise after he heard it. Well said. Feng Zhou, you are so capable. This is a good idea. The higher you climb, the more painful it will be when you fall. That's right. Otherwise, why would I be called Feng Zhou? Brother Neng is quite capable when it comes to doing things. Feng Zhou said proudly. What did you say? Fan Jinja frowned when he heard Feng Zhou call himself Brother Neng. This kid dares to call himself a brother in front of me. Ugh. I said it wrong. In front of Brother Zhe, I am a younger brother. Hee hee. Feng Zhou was shocked. He was too proud just now and almost made Fan Jinja feel disgusted. However, in front of outsiders, you are also a brother. You are under one person and above everyone else. Hee hee. Fan Jinja was in a good mood, so he didn't care about this with Feng Zhou. Instead, he was so happy that he couldn't control himself. When the challenge post was sent out, Yang Ming was at home with Qin Mengyan, Zhou Jijia, and Lin Jiyun. Looking at the three people's happy faces, Yang Ming wanted to say something several times but stopped. He didn't tell Qin Mengyan and the others that he was leaving because Qin Mengyan and the others' psychological endurance was not as strong as Zhao Ying, Jing Xiaolu, and the others. Yang Ming was afraid that they would do something irrational on impulse. However, Yang Ming knew that his days at home were numbered. It could be seen from Xia Bingbao's attitude when he talked to him that his trip to Yunnan was imminent. Mengyan. Yang Ming hesitated and decided to speak. This matter had to be said sooner or later. If he said it earlier, he could win their support. Otherwise, if he said it before he left, it would be difficult for him if the three people really didn't let him go. What's wrong? Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun were discussing how to knit a sweater for Yang Ming, while Zhou Jijia was helping them design the pattern. Knitting sweaters was rare for the current standard of living. After all, the workmanship and cost of the factory assembly line were far lower than handmade. However, when a girl knitted a sweater for a boy, it often represented a different meaning. It was full of deep love. Yang Ming wanted to talk about his own matters, but the phone in his pocket rang. Yang Ming glanced at the caller ID on the phone and couldn't help but smile bitterly. It was really what he was afraid of. The call was from Xia Bingbao. I'll answer the call first. Yang Ming nodded to Qin Mengyan and the others, stood up, and walked out of the living room. Qin Mengyan was slightly stunned. Under normal circumstances, Yang Ming wouldn't answer the phone behind her back. Why did Yang Ming go out to answer the phone this time? Moreover, Yang Ming's expression just now seemed a bit weird. He seemed to want to say something but stopped. Thinking of this, Qin Mengyan couldn't help but be suspicious. She wasn't suspicious of Yang Ming, but she was completely curious. She glanced at Zhou Jijia and Lin Jiyun and said, "I'm going to the bathroom." Chapter 1898. Then, Qin Mengyan tiptoed and followed Yang Ming out of the living room. Zhou Jijia and Lin Jiyun didn't notice anything wrong. The two were completely immersed in the joy of designing sweaters. When they heard Qin Mengyan say that she was going to the bathroom, they didn't care. They continued to be busy with the things at hand. Yang Ming didn't expect Qin Mengyan to follow him. It wasn't that his vigilance had deteriorated, but this was his own home. Yang Ming had installed anti-theft devices outside. As long as someone approached the villa, Yang Ming would receive an early warning signal. Everyone in the house was family. Yang Ming didn't need to be on guard all the time. It was too tiring to live like that. Brother Xia. Yang Ming picked up the phone. Yang Ming, the time has been determined. After 3 days, we will gather in Yanjing City. Xia Bingbao finished speaking and fell into silence. Oh. I got it. Yang Ming pondered for a moment, but he smiled. Who? Xia Bingbao breathed a sigh of relief. I was really afraid that you, kid, would regret it at the last minute. Things have to be solved. If I don't go, who will? Yang Ming shrugged. I have already thought it through. It's good that you have thought it through. However, in these few days, you should arrange things at home. Once you leave. Xia Bingbao didn't continue. In fact, he didn't have any confidence in this operation. After all, the enemy they were dealing with was already an inhuman existence. I understand. Yang Ming said faintly, I don't ask for much. After I leave, I don't want my family to be hurt. Fatty has returned to China. Thanks to you, he has been promoted. He will be sent to your province as the person in charge of the local Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xia Bingbao didn't say it clearly, but he believed that Yang Ming understood what he meant. Fatty is back. Yang Ming was slightly stunned, but he also understood Xia Bingbao's arrangement. Fatty was the contact person of the field team that Yang Ming met in Las Vegas. If it weren't for Yang Ming, Fatty would have to bear a lot of responsibility. After all, Li Dianqi died in his hands. But now, it seemed that not only was he fine, but he was also promoted. It was probably because he gave him face. When the Fatty took office, Xia Bingbao had already hinted to him. Furthermore, his purpose for coming here could not be any more obvious, and that was to bear the responsibility of protecting Yang Ming's family. The status of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was very aloof. It was not under the jurisdiction of either the military or the government. It was directly responsible to the higher-ups. Regardless of whether it was the military or the government, they only had the right to cooperate with the investigation and did not have the right to interfere. If the Fatty was here to escort him, Yang Ming was relieved. He is back. He will probably be there tomorrow. He will contact you. Xia Bingbao laughed. However, I can't trouble him for everything. After all, this identity is a secret. Is there anyone in the local political world who can help us? Yang Ming was still a little worried. After all, there were too many small people who didn't open their eyes. It was fine if Yang Ming was here, but once Yang Ming was gone, there would be some trouble. No, do you have any relatives in the political world? I can help you to act as the peripheral contact of our Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xia Bingbao readily agreed. He also knew that if he put it bluntly, Yang Ming was making arrangements for his funeral. Only when the funeral was arranged, there would be no worries. Therefore, if Xia Bingbao could help, he would try to help Yang Ming deal with it. My father-in-law is the deputy chief of the Songjiang City Police Station, but he may be the chief. Yang Ming thought about it. Only Chen Mingyan's father, Chen Fei, was a person in the political world. There was no one else. And, people in the military and police world just meet our requirements. It doesn't take much effort for them to take on a part-time position on our side, Xia Bingbao said. Xia Bingbao said, I will go and do some activities. The local position will also be promoted accordingly. Then I will trouble Brother Xia. Yang Ming sighed. There is nothing else. Oh, if you have other things, tell me quickly. I will do it together. Otherwise, I won't be able to say it even if I want to. Xia Bingbao felt that Yang Ming's request was really little. Most people would ask for a large amount of settlement fee, right? However, thinking about Yang Ming's net worth, money was probably nothing to Yang Ming. No, I am just worried about my family. I have nothing else to worry about. Yang Ming said, see you in Yanjing 3 days later. That's good. If there is anything, call me again. Xia Bingbao didn't say much. After putting down the phone, Yang Ming sighed and put away the phone. He turned around and was about to go back to the living room, but he was shocked to find that Chen Mengyan was standing behind him. Mengyan, you. Yang Ming was stunned, and his expression suddenly became a little unnatural. Yang Ming, you have something to hide from me, right? You are going to Yanjing in 3 days. What are you going to do? You mentioned my father again. Who are you calling? Chen Mengyan originally thought that Yang Ming was secretly calling a beauty, but it was not like that at all. Chen Mengyan's heart suddenly tightened. Because the content of Yang Ming's phone call was really weird. Hide. Oh, I guess so. Yang Ming saw that Chen Mengyan had heard the content of his phone call, and there was nothing to hide. Moreover, Yang Ming originally planned to tell Chen Mengyan about his own matters. Yang Ming, what the hell is the matter with you? Chen Mengyan held Yang Ming's hand. Don't scare me. Actually, it's nothing. Aren't I afraid that you will be worried? But it's not a big deal. Yang Ming said casually. Not a big deal. Chen Mengyan had some doubts again. Let's go. Let's talk inside. I also want to talk to Jiyun and Jijia. Yang Ming held Chen Mengyan's shoulder and pushed her into the living room. Chen Mengyan's face was full of doubts, but since Yang Ming didn't say it, she couldn't ask. She could only wait for Yang Ming to say the reason. Yang Ming sat on the sofa, and Chen Mengyan also carefully sat next to Yang Ming. Jiyun, Jijia, put down the things in your hands first. I have something to tell you. Yang Ming's expression suddenly became serious, and it shocked Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jijia. When did Yang Ming talk to them so seriously? Every time, he spoke softly, but this time, it was so serious. Yang Ming. What's the matter? Lin Jiyun was shocked. She carefully looked at Yang Ming and asked. Zhou Jijia also looked at Yang Ming nervously. She didn't know what happened. Actually, in addition to my identity as a student, I still have another identity. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said. Other identity? Zhou Jijia and Lin Jiyun were both stunned. Only Chen Mengyan looked at Yang Ming thoughtfully. Chapter 1899. That's right. In fact, my hidden identity is a national agent. As Yang Ming said this, he took out the 2 IDs that he showed to Vice Principal Su today and placed them in front of Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jijia, and Lin Jiyun. This is. The 3 of them quickly opened the 2 IDs carefully and looked at them. When they saw that the photo was Yang Ming's, the 3 of them finally believed Yang Ming's words. Yang Ming was actually an agent. Of course, they wouldn't think that Yang Ming simply took out 2 fake IDs to deceive the 3 of them, because Yang Ming wouldn't be so bored to such an extent. Moreover, because of their unconditional trust in Yang Ming, they wouldn't think so. This matter was originally confidential, but in a few days, I have to perform a mission. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said, so, even if Mengyan didn't notice that I was on the phone, I still had to tell you. Is this mission very dangerous? Chen Mengyan suddenly understood the meaning of Yang Ming's previous phone call. She said in her heart, why do I feel so depressed? It turns out that Yang Ming is actually making arrangements for his funeral. Which mission isn't dangerous? Yang Ming smiled faintly and said, I have performed a lot of dangerous missions before, but you should believe in your husband's skills. No matter how dangerous the mission is, for me, it's just floating clouds. Then, this time, Chen Mengyan was slightly stunned. She didn't expect that Yang Ming had performed many dangerous missions before. Sometimes, when I tell you that I have to go out to do something, it is actually to perform a mission. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said, the last time I went to Las Vegas, it was actually to perform a very dangerous mission. Of course, the danger is equivalent to others. For your husband, it's all trash. Yang Ming deliberately said it casually so that the three of them could rest assured. If he directly said that it was very dangerous and they might lose their lives, the three of them would definitely not accept it. It was better to tell them step by step and let them accept it bit by bit. You haven't said what's different this time. Although Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's explanation, it seemed that this mission wasn't a big deal. Her heart was still faintly uneasy. She felt that this matter wasn't as simple as before. If you want to say that it's different, it is really different. Yang Ming deliberately sighed. Mengyan, you just heard my phone call, right? In your opinion, I seem to be making arrangements for my funeral, right? And, you are really making arrangements for your funeral. Chen Mengyan exclaimed and stood up abruptly. She looked at Yang Ming in horror. It can be considered as making arrangements for my funeral, but this funeral isn't the kind of funeral that I will die for. Yang Ming smiled and explained, Mengyan, don't be excited. Listen to me. What kind of funeral is that? It's already a funeral. Is there a difference? Chen Mengyan was still very excited. Suddenly, she took the two IDs on the table in a childish manner. I will confiscate your IDs. You are not allowed to go. I will hide it for you. Let's see how you can go. Zhou Jijia and Lin Jiyun were also very anxious and worried about Yang Ming, but they didn't ask. After all, the two of them usually followed Chen Mengyan. Since Chen Mengyan asked, they only had to listen to Yang Ming's answer. They didn't have to ask personally. Yang Ming looked at Chen Mengyan's behavior. He couldn't help but be a little dumbfounded. Isn't this Chen Mengyan too childish? She actually thought of the idea of hiding the ID. However, it was useless to hide the ID. Who didn't know Yang Ming? Xia Bingbao probably wouldn't check Yang Ming's ID at all. It was the same whether Yang Ming had the ID or not. Mengyan, don't worry. Listen to me. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. For example, if you want to go abroad to study, you can also say that you will make arrangements for your funeral before you leave. This funeral refers to the family matters after you study abroad. So, it has a different meaning from the funeral after you die. Then you tell me. What is the difference between this time and the past? Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's explanation and breathed a sigh of relief. This time, I am afraid that I will be gone for a long time. The shortest is 3 months, the longest is 1 year, even 5 years or 10 years is possible. Said Yang Ming. What? 5 years or 10 years? Chen Mengyan widened her eyes and looked at Yang Ming. The tears in her eyes couldn't help but fall. Yang Ming, you didn't lie to me. You have to go for so long. And I didn't lie to you. So, before I leave, I must arrange for my funeral, Yang Ming laughed. Why are you going for so long? No, you can't go. I won't let you go. Chen Mengyan was anxious. She didn't look like an elder sister anymore. She hugged Yang Ming and wouldn't let go no matter what. Mengyan, good Mengyan, don't cry. Yang Ming patted Chen Mingyan's back and carefully comforted, Mengyan, everyone has their own social responsibilities. Since I am in this position, I have to do what I need to do. But, how can you be gone for so long? What should we do? Chen Mengyan was anxious. No, you can let others go. Anyway, you can't go. Let others go. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Mengyan, you are not a child. How can you say this? Others don't have girlfriends. Others don't have relatives and children. Then. I don't care. Anyway, you can't go. Chen Mengyan was anxious. She hugged Yang Ming and wouldn't let go no matter what. Mengyan, haven't you heard a song? Yang Ming calmly sang a familiar lyric, if you don't carry a gun, I don't carry a gun. Who will protect the motherland? Who will protect the home? This. Chen Mengyan naturally heard this song. Moreover, children born in a military and police family were naturally more exposed to this type of song. Mengyan, think about it. When you go to catch the bad guys, can your father not go? Can he hide at home and accompany you and your mother? Yang Ming explained, at that time, your mother also pestered Uncle Chen like this and didn't let him go. But when I was young, every time my father went on a mission, my mother and I couldn't sleep at night. We were scared at home. I don't want this feeling anymore. I don't want you to be like this. Chen Mengyan remembered the childhood and cried even more sadly. Mengyan, for this matter, whether it is public or private, I have to go. Only I am qualified for this task. Yang Ming continued. Public or private? Chen Mengyan was stunned. What does this have to do with private? Public, I already have the identity of an agent. Where I am needed, I naturally have to stand up and do it. Yang Ming explained, private. The enemy this time is also my old opponent, Elder Yu. Chapter 1900. Elder Yu. Chen Mengyan exclaimed. Obviously, she knew something about Elder Yu before. The one who came to our Songjiang before. Chen Afu is his disciple. And, that's it. Yang Ming said, last time in Songjiang, he already had a grudge with me, so this time to deal with him, I naturally have to go too. Moreover, he is also Lan Ling's enemy. After I defeat him, Lan Ling can come back. It turns out to be because of Lan Ling. Chen Mengyan was suddenly a little jealous, but after listening to Yang Ming's explanation, she didn't have such a strong objection to Yang Ming going to perform this mission. After all, although she was Yang Ming's official girlfriend, when it came to the order of being with Yang Ming, Lin Jiyun was the first, and Lan Ling was the second. Chen Mengyan was just a latecomer. Hee, you can say that. Yang Ming nodded. She is my woman, so I must bring her back. Your woman. Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's words and was somewhat uncomfortable. Mengyan, not only Lan Ling, but if anything happens to you, I won't just ignore it. No matter how dangerous it is, I will rush up. Yang Ming said very seriously, just like if something happened to Zhou Jiejia's father, I will not shirk my responsibility. This is my obligation, and it is the same for everyone. Then, when you are there, you must be careful. You have to contact us more. Chen Mengyan heard that Yang Ming's opponent was Elder Yu, so she also put down some worries. After all, the last time Elder Yu was in Songjiang, he was defeated by Yang Ming. With such a precedent, in Chen Mengyan's view, this Elder Yu's level shouldn't be good. He was just a little cunning. Since Yang Ming could defeat him once, he could defeat him a second time. The reason why Yang Ming said that he would go for so long might be because this Elder Yu ran fast. It was not easy to track him, so he had to fight a protracted battle. I will definitely be careful, but I can't contact him. In the mountains over there is no cell phone signal, and the opponent is very cunning. We can't let him intercept our communication with the outside world. Yang Ming said with some apologies. However, he saw that Chen Mengyan misunderstood that his opponent, Elder Yu, wasn't a very powerful opponent, so he was relieved and didn't explain more. That was even better. They wouldn't have to worry when the time came. I see. Chen Mengyan nodded reluctantly, but she wasn't an unreasonable person. She also understood the discipline during the mission. She couldn't turn on the mobile phone and couldn't contact the outside world. Her father used to often participate in the task force. The longest time was when he didn't contact the family for a few months. Because it was strictly confidential, Chen Mengyan could understand. It was just that her father was like this, and so was her lover. Chen Mengyan felt that it was a bit unfair. Why is my family like this? Yeah, but you can rest assured. Tomorrow night, I will introduce a person to you. He is also a person inside our system. You can confirm my information and whereabouts directly from him. The person Yang Ming was talking about was Fatty. He was going to introduce Fatty to Chen Mengyan and others. He also wanted to let Chen Fei know in advance so that if there were any problems in the family in the future, he could go directly to Fatty to solve it. Okay then. Chen Mengyan heard Yang Ming's determination. She also knew that Yang Ming wouldn't break the discipline because of her. That was impossible. So, she didn't insist. Ha! I knew it. My little Mengyan is the most sensible. Yang Ming smiled and pinched Chen Mengyan's delicate little face. Aya, what are you doing? Chen Mengyan was a little shy because of Yang Ming's action. Hee, now that I have finished talking to you, accompany me home tonight and talk to my parents. They are old. I am afraid that they can't accept it. The three of you have to help. Yang Ming said to Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia. Chen Mengyan helped Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia to answer what they wanted to ask. In fact, their love for Yang Ming was the same, so what they wanted to say was similar. At this time, Yang Ming had already explained to Chen Mengyan, which was equivalent to explaining it to them. Chen Mengyan nodded. But, if you leave for 10 years, how can we live? At that time, when you come back, won't we be old and weary? Ha! When Yang Ming heard Chen Mengyan's words, he couldn't help but laugh. Mengyan, you are only 20 years old now. Even if you leave for 10 years, you will only be 30 years old. How can you be old and weary? Look at Sister Xiaoqing. She is already 31 years old. Isn't she about the same age as you? Can't you see how old she is? That's true, but Sister Xiaoqing takes good care of herself. We can't say for sure. When Chen Mengyan talked about Sister Xiaoqing, she couldn't help but be envious. Then you should ask Sister Xiaoqing when you are free. See how she takes good care of herself. Yang Ming was happy that these women could get along well with each other after he left. He believed that after a period of time, they would accept each other. It's scary when I think about it. 10 years. How do you want us to live? Chen Mengyan was reluctant when she thought of the long wait. If you can't wait, you can also remarry. Yang Ming smiled and said. Damn you, Yang Ming. What did you say? Chen Mengyan was anxious. Am I so easy to change my mind? I will strangle you. As Chen Mengyan said, she pinched Yang Ming's soft flesh. Ugh. Yang Ming quickly dodged, but his expression was serious. I'm telling the truth. Jiyun, Jiejia, if you meet the right person, don't wrong yourself. Find your own happiness as soon as possible. Lin Jiyun quickly shook her head and waved her hand. She was somewhat incoherent. I won't. I will wait for you. Zhou Jiejia also said firmly, I have died once for you. How can I change my mind? If I could change my mind, I would have changed long ago. It's okay. I can wait for so many years. I will continue to wait now. Zhou Jiejia's persistence made Chen Mengyan feel a little touched. Yes, Zhou Jiejia waited for so many years to get Yang Ming's love. Moreover, she can continue to wait now. Why can't I? Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan had no complaints. Loving a person is to sacrifice for him. Chen Mengyan also felt at this moment that 10 years wasn't a long time. If two people love each other for a long time, why would they be together day and night? Yang Ming, I will wait for you too. I will wait for you to come back. I am still waiting for you to fulfill your promise. You have to marry me. Chen Mengyan raised her head and looked at Yang Ming tenderly and firmly. Chapter 1901. Oh, okay. Yang Ming nodded. Since we don't have any differences in opinion, let's pack up and prepare to go back. Yang Ming was going to take the three people back home in the evening, and then confess his own matters to his parents. At the same time, he also let the three people know. However, because Chen Mengyan heard his phone call and had some accidents, he told the three women in advance. However, it also saved some trouble. When he confessed to his parents in the evening, with the help of the three people, it should be easier for his parents to accept it. The reason why Yang Ming hadn't told his parents about his matters was that he was afraid that his parents would be worried if they knew too early. The people that Yang Ming couldn't let go, in addition to his own women, were his parents. His parents were old. If something really happened to him, they would probably be heartbroken in the future. However, if Elder Yu wasn't eliminated, he would always be a scourge. Although Yang Ming wasn't a hero, he was also a responsible person. Even if there was no hatred with Elder Yu, as long as the country needed Yang Ming would not shirk his duty. Even the inexplicable center, Yang Ming didn't intend to let it go easily. After all, the only one who could compete with him was Yang Ming himself. If Yang Ming didn't make a move, no one could do anything to the center. Yang Ming could ignore murderers, robbers, and the like. It wasn't that he didn't have kindness, but he was just a person after all. He wasn't Superman. These things would be handled by the police. But Elder Yu, and even the center, if he didn't do it himself, he could only let them do whatever they wanted. Therefore, in this case, Yang Ming had to stand up. This was what an indomitable man should do. Although Yang Ming seemed to be bargaining with Xia Bingbao before leaving, in fact, even if Xia Bingbao didn't agree to Yang Ming's conditions, Yang Ming would still make a move. This was because Yang Ming knew very well that the greater the power, the greater the responsibility. The conditions that Yang Ming fought for were basically for his family and women. Yang Ming didn't want them to be harassed by his enemies after he left, so Yang Ming sometimes overdid it. But, presumably, Xia Bingbao also understood. There was a reason why Yang Ming decided to tell his parents the truth tonight. It was because Xia Bingbao called. Yang Ming was about to embark on his journey in 3 days. He didn't know when he could come back. Moreover, whether he could come back was also a problem, so Yang Ming had to give his parents an explanation. In the evening, Yang Ming drove Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia back to the community of the Songjiang bus factory, which was now renamed Mingyang Community. Carrying the gift, he went upstairs with heavy steps. However, his mood was completely different from the heavy steps he took a year ago. A year ago, whenever his steps were heavy, it was because he got into trouble. He was afraid of being scolded by his parents when he returned home. Today, he was no longer afraid of being scolded by his parents. Instead, he was afraid that his parents would be sad. Mother Yang was very surprised. Why did my son come back today? The two elders were very familiar with Qin Mengyan, Zhou Jijia, and Lin Jiyun. They had been wondering how Yang Ming managed to handle the relationship between the three of them. The three of them were now as close as sisters. They didn't fight for anything. Qin Mengyan also acted like an elder sister. Neither of the two younger sisters would be jealous of each other. Big Ming, why did you come back today? Your dad and I wanted to go out for dinner tonight, so we didn't prepare dinner. Mother Yang opened the door and looked at her son strangely. Mom, I missed you and Dad, so I came back to see you. Yang Ming put the gift in his hand on the ground and said to his mother. Good for you, Big Ming. Why did you bring a gift home? Are you rusty after not coming back for such a long time? What are you doing? Mother Yang looked at the gift brought by Yang Ming and asked with some surprise. Hee, am I not bringing my wife back home? How can I not bring a gift? As Yang Ming said this, he winked at Qin Mengyan and said, the gift is from them. I am just acting as a helper. Qin Mengyan immediately understood. She nodded and said, yes, Auntie. This is a small gift from the three of us. If you don't accept it, how would we dare to come here in the future? Good. Since my daughter-in-law bought it for me, then I will accept it no matter what. When she heard that it was prepared by Qin Mengyan and the other two, Mother Yang was overjoyed. She happily put it away and then shouted to the study, Old Yang, Big Ming brought his daughter-in-law to see us. Hurry up and come out. Yang Dahai also heard the sound of the door opening, but he didn't care. He thought it was a neighbor's friend. Mother Yang's job was leisurely. She was the manager of the property company downstairs, so she usually had a good relationship with the aunties in the building. It was common for them to visit each other at night to chat. Yang Dahai naturally didn't care. At this time, when he heard that his son came back with his daughter-in-law, he quickly put down the work in his hand and walked out of the study. When he saw Yang Ming, he couldn't help but smile. Big Ming is back. Mengyan, Jijia, Jiyun, sit down. Come here and treat it like your own home. Don't be restrained. Yang Dahai was also happy that his son found 3 beautiful daughters-in-law. At least he didn't have to worry about the next generation. Now there were a lot of young couples in the Dink tribe who didn't want children. This worried the old people, but Yang Dahai didn't worry about this problem. Anyway, if one didn't want to have children, there were still the other 2. It couldn't be that all 3 of them didn't like to have children, right? Hello, uncle. When Qin Mengyan and the other 2 saw Yang Dahai coming out, they also greeted Yang Dahai politely. Good. Yang Dahai nodded and then asked Mother Yang, have you prepared dinner? No, I was waiting for you to finish your work. Then, we will go downstairs to eat. Who knew that Big Ming, this kid, would come back so suddenly? I wasn't prepared. Mother Yang complained to her son, if you don't call me the next time you come back, I won't open the door. Originally, Mother Yang said this as a joke. Yang Ming's expression was stagnant. The expressions of Qin Mengyan, Zhou Jijia, and Lin Jiyun were also somewhat unnatural. Because all 4 of them thought of a problem at the same time. The next time they would visit, they didn't know when it would be. Mother Yang saw that both her son and daughter-in-law had this expression. Suddenly, she was stunned. Could this be a misunderstanding? I was just casually joking. You don't have to take it seriously, right? So, she quickly explained, Mom was just joking with you. Why did you take it seriously? Big Ming, what's with your expression? Yang Ming looked at his mother and couldn't help but sigh. He wanted to wait for a while to talk about his own matters, but since his mother had already brought the topic here. Chapter 1902. Yang Ming naturally continued, "Mom, I'm afraid this is the last time I come back to see you. I don't know when the next time will be." "Ah." Mother Yang was stunned, then she frowned. She seemed to be angry. "Big Ming, what do you mean? Mom just said one sentence, and you're angry. Why don't you want to come back?" Yang Ming listened to his mother's question and knew that his mother had misunderstood. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. "Mom, you misunderstood. I'm not angry. I have to leave for a while." "Leave for a while? What do you mean? What the hell is going on?" Mother Yang was somewhat inexplicable. "Actually, this is the case." At this point, Yang Ming could only brace himself and tell the things that he had told Qin Mengyan before. He told them everything in one go, including his identity, the nature of the mission, and even the matter of bringing Lan Ling back. Yang's father and Mother Yang listened to Yang Ming's words. They were surprised and couldn't calm down for a long time. This matter was too weird. Our son was still a college student. How did he suddenly become an agent? Moreover, he had carried out many missions before. Why didn't I know anything? You kid, why did you hide it from me and your dad for so long? Did you grow up and have wings? You don't put me and your dad in your eyes. Mother Yang stared at Yang Ming and asked, "What's the matter with Lan Ling? Are you worthy of Qin Mengyan and the others? You actually found another girl." Qin Mengyan saw that Mother Yang scolded Yang Ming and mentioned Lan Ling. She quickly explained, "Auntie, I know Lan Ling. She was Yang Ming's acquaintance before I established a relationship with him. We had already agreed that we would get along well." Don't be angry with Yang Ming. In fact, Mother Yang wasn't really angry because of Lan Ling, but because Qin Mengyan was next to her. If she didn't do something as a mother-in-law, wouldn't she be indulging her son? So Mother Yang scolded Yang Ming a few times. She didn't expect that Qin Mengyan would help Yang Ming. She couldn't help but be a little surprised. "Mengyan, you already know Lan Ling." Mother Yang suddenly realized that Qin Mengyan and the other two seemed to already know what Yang Ming said, and Yang Ming just told the two elders about it. "But he'll be gone for 5 to 10 years. Isn't that too long? No, I won't let you go." Mother Yang was a little anxious. "I will talk to your leader tomorrow to send another person." "Why should my son go?" "My son hasn't graduated from college. He's still a child. How can he perform a task?" "Mom." Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. He didn't expect his mother to oppose so fiercely. "Old woman, don't talk nonsense. Yang Ming is serving the country. How can you stop it? If everyone follows your idea, then it won't be good." Yang Dehai was open-minded. After listening to Yang Ming's words, he didn't say much. He just nodded to show his support. His father's open-mindedness was beyond Yang Ming's expectation. In this way, he successfully convinced his parents. "Then I don't care. Why don't others go? Let Yang Ming go." Mother Yang was still unwilling. "This is our glory. To prove that Yang Ming is better than others, then we will let him go. If he can't, then naturally, we won't let him go." Yang Dehai stood up and reached out to pat Yang Ming's shoulder. "Son, Dad is proud of you. I was worried that you would become a pest in society, but in this year, you have changed a lot. Not only did you not become a pest in society, but you have become a pillar of the country." "Dad." Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. "Am I so bad?" But thinking about the past, except for fighting, skipping class and going out to play every day, he didn't do anything serious. To put it nicely, he was a delinquent teenager. To put it bluntly, he was a pest in society. Now, what he was going to do was glorious and great. No wonder his father was so happy. Young Dahai, you are open-minded, but listen to it. He has to go for 10 years. How are we going to live for 10 years? How boring would it be if our son is not around? Although Mother Yang knew that Yang's father was telling the truth, she still had some reluctance. Besides, if he is gone, what about Meng Yan and the others? Let them wait for 10 years. Auntie, we can wait. You can rest assured. We are the daughters-in-law of the Yang family in this life. It won't change. Chen Mengyan held Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jian's hands and said softly. Mother Yang listened to Chen Mingyan's words and was very moved. However, this wasn't something that could be solved with just being moved. Mother Yang was still unwilling. You say, I am already so old. I am waiting to hold my grandchild as soon as possible. You will be gone for 10 years. Where can I go to hold my grandchild? When you come back, I haven't seen my grandson. Maybe I will be dead. Yang Ming suddenly broke into a sweat. Mother said a bit too much. She was only in her 40s. Even if it was 10 years, she would only be in her 50s. How could she die? She was thousands of miles away from death. People in their 70s or 80s didn't say that they were dead. She was thinking a bit too far. However, Yang Ming also knew that his mother was using this as a pretext. Originally, if he didn't perform this mission, Yang Ming was also prepared to live in seclusion in Island X after graduating from university for 3 to 4 years. Then, he would have a few children and live a happy life. However, this plan changed Yang Ming's original plan. Yang Ming could only give up the original plan. Auntie, why don't we have one now? Chen Mengyan gritted her teeth and suddenly looked up. Her eyes were firm and a little shy. Now. Have one. Mother Yang was also stunned by Chen Mengyan's words. Mengyan, you mean, you want to have a child now? And I think, if Yang Ming is really gone for 10 years, we will be very lonely. It is better to have a child now. At least, when I miss Yang Ming, I can see the child. Chen Mengyan said shyly. This was the problem she thought about on the road. Otherwise, she couldn't decide so easily after Mother Yang mentioned it. Chen Mengyan was hesitating about how to say it to Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan's mother brought the topic to this, which saved Chen Mengyan a lot of effort. We also have the same idea. Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie said at the same time. The two of them also had the same idea as Chen Mengyan on the road, but they were embarrassed to say it. At this time, since Chen Mengyan mentioned it, then the two of them talked naturally. Chapter 1903. It can't be. You guys. Yang Ming looked at the three women in surprise. He didn't expect them to be so determined. Yang Ming sighed. It seems that the three women's minds can't be changed. Then, it's not impossible to have a child. At the very least, if anything were to happen to him, his parents, Meng Yan, and the rest would have a spiritual sustenance to rely on. Yang Ming, we are serious. Chen Mengyan glanced at Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun, and then nodded slowly. Mom, what do you mean? Yang Ming scratched his head and looked at his mother awkwardly. This is naturally good. Mother Yang's previous unhappy expression suddenly became happy. If you have a grandson, you can be busy wherever you want to be. It doesn't matter if it's 10 or 20 years. I will play with my grandson. Yang Ming suddenly broke into a sweat. How can it be like this? Having a grandson made me forget my son. In the blink of an eye, I have become an insignificant person from a popular person. But this is also good. At least it diverted his mother's attention, and it also saved a lot of Yang Ming's words. The dinner was ordered from the Songjiang International Hotel. The family of 6 sat around a small round table. Because they were determined to have a grandson, Yang's father and mother Yang didn't mention too much about Yang Ming's mission. In their opinion, the danger of this mission shouldn't be high. If it was a dangerous mission, it wouldn't take so long. The more dangerous it was, the faster it would be. Therefore, this kind of protracted battle was more troublesome to solve, but the relative danger was relatively small. In addition, Chen Mengyan also explained that the enemy this time was defeated by Yang Ming when they were in Songjiang. This time, they just tracked him to his lair. Therefore, Yang's father and mother Yang thought that the one who chased after the enemy must be stronger than the enemy. Moreover, if Yang Ming wasn't strong, how could the enemy escape? The reason why it took so long was that the enemy was very cunning. His whereabouts were uncertain, and it was more difficult to find him. When sleeping at night, Yang Ming, Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jijia slept in the same room. It was Yang Ming's previous room. Although the bed was a bit small, it was still possible to squeeze in. Chen Mengyan was very excited and somewhat nervous. After all, it was the first time that she was going to try to get pregnant. Every woman's mood was very excited. Today was also Chen Mengyan's critical period, so the probability of pregnancy was much higher. Lin Jiyun's mother was worried. She had her period. When Lin Jiyun said this, it made Chen Mengyan feel a little embarrassed. Isn't there still Jijia? I just finished. Zhou Jijia suddenly blushed. When I was at the resort a few days ago, I also had my period. It's only been 4 days. It should still be the safe period. Aw. Really? Then, I'm the only one. When Chen Mengyan heard what they said, she was more worried than them. She couldn't help but smile bitterly. It's impossible for you all. If I can't get pregnant, wouldn't I be a sinner? So, Sister Mengyan, you have to work hard. Zhou Jijia blinked. We won't fight with you today. We will let you monopolize Yang Ming. You must not let us down. Okay. Then I will go all out. I won't sleep tonight. When Chen Mengyan heard this, she suddenly clenched her teeth. Yang Ming, come on. Let's start now. Yang Ming suddenly sweated. He didn't expect Chen Mengyan to be so crazy. Originally, Chen Mengyan was a little embarrassed because Zhou Jijia and Lin Jiyun were on the side. However, when she thought that it was a big deal to carry on the Yang family's ancestral line, Mother Yang was still waiting for her to give birth to a child. Suddenly, she couldn't care so much and let go. Lin Jiyun was fine. She and Chen Mengyan also served Yang Ming together, so at this time, she was fine except for a little blush. But Zhou Jijia was different. She hadn't experienced these things yet. At this time, when she saw her beloved man and her sister practicing on the bed, she couldn't help but feel dry in her mouth. Her body also twisted unnaturally. She didn't want to watch, but her eyes couldn't leave. Jijia, what's wrong with you? Lin Jiyun found that something was wrong with Zhou Jijia, so she quickly asked. I also want to. Am I a little perverted? Zhou Jijia was a little embarrassed. I know that Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming want to have a child, but I also want to join in. Lin Jiyun listened to Zhou Jijia's words and also blushed. Jijia, in fact, I also have feelings, but I can still restrain it. You. Why don't you join in? Although Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were in bed, he also heard the conversation between Zhou Jijia and Lin Jiyun. He couldn't help but smile. Jia, come over. Let your sister Mengyan rest for a while, I'll pass. Zhou Jia was a little shy. No matter what, it was her first time. How could she dare to join in the group? In the end, Zhou Jia didn't join in. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were also very tired. The four of them huddled together on Yang Ming's small bed and slept in each other's arms. Early the next morning, Yang Ming told his parents that he couldn't stay at home because he still had other things to deal with. Yang Ming still had to see Lu Weishan. He was his godfather. Yang Ming was going to Yunnan soon. Naturally, he had to say goodbye to him. There was also Xiao Qing, Sun Jie, Zhao Ying, Huang Lele, and Suya. He had to say goodbye to them one by one. After all, the trip to Yunnan in 3 days was imminent. Yang's father and mother Yang's eyes fell on the lower abdomen of Chen Mengyan and the others at the same time. This made Chen Mengyan and others a little shy. Yang Ming smiled and said, "How can it be so fast? I will work hard in these few days. I will definitely let you have grandchildren. That's more like it. Then you can go. Yang Ming, when you go to see your godfather, don't go empty-handed. Take the things you brought yesterday, okay?" Mother Yang pointed at the things that Yang Ming brought yesterday. Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. "Mom, this is for you and my dad. I will buy some more to see godfather. How can I take it back? Your dad and I don't need it. You can take it. Why do you care so much about your own family?" Mother Yang couldn't help but put the things in Yang Ming's hands. "If you don't take it, it will be a waste to leave it at home. Your dad and I have money. We can buy whatever we want and need. We don't need you to buy the things we don't need." Chapter 1904. Yang Ming, since uncle and auntie have said so, then take it back. Chen Mengyan also saw that Yang Ming's parents really didn't lack these things, so when she saw that Mother Yang insisted, she also persuaded. "Right, Mengyan, you are ready to give birth to a grandson for me. Why are you still calling us uncle and auntie? Isn't it time to change the way you address us?" Mother Yang suddenly said after listening to Chen Mengyan's words. "Ah." Chen Mengyan was stunned, but she suddenly felt embarrassed. Although she was already very familiar with Yang Ming's parents, she was still not used to suddenly changing the way she addressed them. However, she was very happy in her heart because this also meant that she was recognized by Yang Ming's family. "You want the child to change the way you address us? How can you not prepare to change the way you address us?" Yang Dahai listened to Mother Yang's words and saw Chen Mengyan's embarrassment. He quickly mediated, "Besides, the child is still young. There is no need to rush." Yang Dahai thought that Chen Mengyan wasn't ready, so he didn't want to push too hard. Although their living conditions had improved by leaps and bounds, Yang Dahai was no longer the former laid-off worker, and Mother Yang was no longer the former temporary worker. One of them was the chairman of the Mingyang Heavy Industry Group, and the other was the manager of the community property company. It was more than enough to match Chen Mengyan's family. However, this was only in the case that Yang Ming had a girlfriend. Now Yang Ming didn't only have Chen Mengyan as his girlfriend, but also Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jia. If Chen Mengyan were to change her way of addressing him, then would Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jia change their ways of addressing him? Although Chen Mengyan was Yang Ming's first girlfriend, Lin Jiyun was the first girl who had a relationship with Yang Ming. It was Yang Ming who owed her. Yang's father and mother Yang were well aware of this. It was impossible for them to break up Lin Jiyun and Yang Ming. If they were to follow the order of first come, first served, then Lin Jiyun would be the first girlfriend. Looking at Zhou Jia, she loved Yang Ming to the bone. She could take a bullet for Yang Ming regardless of life and death. How could this kind of unforgettable love be easily separated? Therefore, Yang's father and mother Yang were really in a dilemma. Since Chen Mengyan was willing and didn't say anything, they were naturally happy to agree. Yang Ming's relationship with Yang Ming's relationship with Yang Ming's relationship with Yang Yang, they couldn't treat them differently, right? Although Chen Mengyan was happy, Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun weren't happy. Wasn't this destroying the harmony of the family? In fact, Yang's father and mother Yang thought too much. First, it wasn't that Chen Mengyan wasn't prepared, but she was a little excited and didn't know what to say. Second, if she changed hers, how could she not let Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun change theirs? Chen Mengyan had already accepted Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun from the bottom of her heart. She really regarded them as sisters. The relationship between the three of them had long ceased to have any intrigue. Hearing Yang Ming's words, Chen Mengyan was anxious. She actually wanted to finalize this matter today. If Yang Ming really left, then she didn't know when he would come back next time. She also wanted to establish her identity as the daughter-in-law of the Yang family before Yang Ming left. In this way, when Yang Ming went out in the future, she could come to Yang Ming's house naturally, and it wouldn't be awkward. Therefore, Chen Mengyan pulled Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie's clothes and whispered, "Let's call it together." Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie naturally had the same idea, but since Chen Mengyan didn't speak, they naturally wouldn't say anything. Now that Chen Mengyan said so, how could they object? Although they were a little embarrassed, they also understood that if they didn't seize this opportunity, they would definitely regret it in the future. Dad. Mom. Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejie opened their mouths almost at the same time, which made Yang's father and mother Yang stunned. Although they already knew that Chen Mengyan didn't care that Yang Ming had two more girlfriends, Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie, no matter what, she was always the most legitimate wife in the end. But now, Chen Mengyan obviously gave the same identity to Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie. Having three daughters-in-law at the same time made Mother Yang somewhat overwhelmed. However, Yang Dehai had been exposed to a lot of big situations recently. At this time, he also recovered after being stunned. He quickly said to Mother Yang, "What are you doing? Hurry up and give the children the money." "Oh, okay. Mother Yang also recovered and quickly ran to the house to find money, but how much cash could there be at home? Moreover, she didn't know how much money was appropriate to prepare. The current Yang family was no longer the Yang family of the past. Yang Dehai's business was often in the hundreds of millions of yuan. If the money was too little, it wouldn't be the case. The behavior of Chen Mengyan and the other two was somewhat beyond Yang Ming's expectations. However, Yang Ming thought about it carefully and was relieved. Since they had chosen to follow him, then before he left, it was also right to give them a legitimate identity. After he left, the three of them would come to his house to accompany his parents. Otherwise, the identity of his girlfriend would always be somewhat unreliable. But now, after calling them Dad and Mom, it also confirmed that they were all Yang Ming's wives. Although there was no formal wedding ceremony, in their hearts, they had already acquiesced to this fact. "Mom, don't bother. Give each of them 100 yuan. It's enough." Yang Ming also guessed that it was impossible to have so much cash at home, so he opened his mouth to help his mother out. "How can 100 yuan be enough? You should at least give 100,000 yuan. Mother Yang was a little worried. An ordinary family would need 50,000 yuan to change their identity. With their current conditions and the excellence of Chen Mengyan and the other two, 100,000 yuan was not much. Hee, Auntie. Mom. Chen Mengyan was not used to calling Mother Yang at first. Yang Ming is right. 100 yuan is enough. Yeah, the change of identity is just a formality. Yang Ming smiled and said, "They are not short of money." "That's fine. Don't give 100 yuan. Give each of them 10,000 yuan first. When the bank opens tomorrow, I will withdraw the money." Mother Yang took out 30,000 yuan. There was a total of 50,000 yuan in cash at home. It was not easy to divide the three of them. It couldn't be 16,000 yuan each, right? That was not very good. It was better to give 10,000 yuan as a round number. No need. 10,000 yuan is enough. Chen Mengyan smiled and took the lead to take the 10,000 yuan handed over by Mother Yang. Then, Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia also took the change of identity handed over by Mother Yang. "Since you have taken the money, you are a family in the future. Tomorrow, let your father give you a key to the house. If you have time, come and visit. Yang Ming, this child, is not easy to worry about. After he leaves, you have to come and play more often," Mother Yang said. Chapter 1905. Don't worry, Mom. We will come when we are free in the future, Chen Mengyan said politely. After sending Yang Ming and the others downstairs, Yang's father and Mother Yang happily returned to the house. Although Yang Ming was leaving soon, it was a good thing to have 3 daughters-in-law. After leaving home, Yang Ming drove directly to his godfather, Lu Weishan's house. This was also the first time Yang Ming officially visited with his 3 girlfriends. Yang Ming called Lu Weishan, "Godfather, where are you?" "In school. I just finished a meeting." Lu Weishan heard Yang Ming's voice, so his tone became casual. "Oh. Godfather, you are still busy." Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't expect his godfather to still be in school so late. "I just finished a meeting." Vice Principal Su was suspended. His job was temporarily replaced by another newly promoted vice principal. Lu Weishan said and laughed, "You little brat, you actually have such a powerful trump card and another identity. I've been worried for nothing." Lu Weishan said so. Yang Ming could basically confirm that Lu Weishan would smoothly take over the position of principal. It was already a surprise that the newly promoted vice principal could take over Vice Principal Su's job. It was impossible to go further. The only person who could take over the principal's job could only be Lu Weishan, the senior vice principal. "My identity is actually a secret. Isn't it because there is no other way? That's why I took it out." Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. After all, these things were hidden from Lu Weishan beforehand. "I just told this to my parents." Yang Ming said so that his godfather wouldn't have any other thoughts. Because his parents just knew, it wasn't that Yang Ming deliberately hid it from him. "If that's the case, then can you say it now? When will you come to my place and have a good talk with me?" Lu Weishan wasn't angry that Yang Ming hid these things from him. Instead, he felt that what Yang Ming was doing now was a serious matter. It wasn't a bad thing, so there was no need to hide it. "And I'm going to your house to see you, godmother, and sister Xiaoqing. When can you go back?" Yang Ming asked with some embarrassment. "I'm going to pack up and go home now. I'm afraid that your sister Xiaoqing will come back a little later. She also has some things to deal with in her department." Vice President Su's relative has recently been trying to replace Qing as the dean of the department. However, Vice President Su has been suspended. The relative has also found some economic problems. Qing is cooperating with the school's disciplinary department to deal with this matter, said Lu Weishan. "Hee, that's fine. Let's go over first." Yang Ming shook his head. He didn't expect Vice Principal Su to involve others. It was really unfortunate. Yang Ming's car slowly drove into the school. Not long after he entered the school gate, his phone rang. Yang Ming took out his phone and looked at it. It was Zhang Bin calling. Zhang Bin, what's the matter? Asked Yang Ming. Bro, where are you? Zhang Bin's voice was a little anxious. I just arrived at the school. What's wrong? What's the matter? Asked Yang Ming. Bro, have you seen the school's forum BBS? There is a challenge from Fan Jinja on it, said Zhang Bin. Challenge? What challenge? Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't know what Zhang Bin was talking about. He wants to challenge. Yeah, don't you know? Zhang Bin said, the post has just been posted, and it has become a hot post. The number of top posts has exceeded 10,000, but most of them are supporting you, bro. What the hell is going on? Can you tell me in detail? Asked Yang Ming. It's like this. Fan Jinja posted a challenge, saying that he wants to fight with you. The loser has to stay away from Sister Zhaoying and run around the school naked. Said Zhang Bin. Is there something wrong with him? Yang Ming was stunned when he heard Zhang Bin's words. This Fan Jinja can really think of these inexplicable things. Yeah, I also think there is something wrong with him. Zhang Bin said after listening, he is not your opponent at all. Now the replies on the internet are completely one-sided. Everyone predicted that you, bro, will be the winner. They all said that Fan Jinja is asking for trouble. Why would he do something that everyone knows the result of? Is he retarded? Yang Ming smiled faintly after listening. This kid probably wants to play some dirty tricks. That's true. Zhang Bin suddenly realized, then, bro, are you going to accept the challenge or not? I'll study it. Yang Ming did not answer immediately because Yang Ming wanted to see the situation before making a decision. Okay, bro, I'm just informing you. You can go online and see for yourself. Zhang Bin said, if there's nothing else, I'll hang up. I'm going to have fun with Zhao Sisi and Wang Mei. Zhang Bin was very proud when he said this. He was very proud of dealing with Zhao Sisi and Wang Mei at the same time. As Yang Ming's underling, even if he did not have as many women as Yang Ming, having two of them was not a disgrace to the boss. Hee, go ahead, said Yang Ming. Bro, then I'm hanging up. As Zhang Bin said this, he was about to hang up the phone. Wait a minute. Yang Ming suddenly remembered that he was going to leave in 3 days. He had not had a good time with Zhang Bin, his good friend, so he quickly called out. What's wrong, bro? Is there anything else? Asked Zhang Bin. Do you have time tomorrow? Come out at night. Let's talk. Asked Yang Ming. Aw. Okay, bro, call me. I have time anytime. Said Zhang Bin, but he was somewhat puzzled. Yang Ming suddenly looked for him. What's the matter? But he still responded directly, I'll bring Zhao Sisi and Wang Mei. Don't bring them. It's just the two of us. I won't bring anyone else, said Yang Ming. Oh. Zhang Bin was stunned. Although he was more confused, he still said, okay, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Yang Ming sighed and hung up the phone. Yang Ming, what challenge did Zhang Bin just say? Who wants to challenge you? Chen Mengyan heard a few vague words from Yang Ming, but she did not hear Zhang Bin's words, so she asked curiously. Oh, that Fan Jinja wants to challenge me. He said it's a martial arts competition. The loser has to stay away from Sister Zhaoying and run around the school field naked. Explained Yang Ming. Ah. Fan Jinja. He wants to challenge you. Chen Mengyan was shocked, the person at the resort that night. That's him. Probably because of what happened last time, said Yang Ming. How did he challenge you? Are you going to accept the challenge? asked Chen Mengyan worriedly. Isn't this because I want to discuss with you? Yang Ming smiled and said, Jia, can your phone log into the campus network's BBS? Zhang Bin said that there is a challenge post. Chapter 1906. Yes, I'll log in and take a look now. Zhou Jia quickly took out her mobile phone and began to log into the campus network. It was generally impossible to log into the school's campus network through external networks, but it was not difficult for Zhou Jia. Soon, Zhou Jia logged into the school's BBS forum and found the challenge post posted by Fan Jinja. Found it. Zhou Jia pointed to the mobile phone screen and said, It's this post. Let me see. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun both leaned over and looked at the post displayed on Zhou Jiajia's mobile phone screen. Why is this Fan Jinja so bad? Zhou Jia couldn't help but frown after reading the challenge post. If he wants to pursue a girl, he should use an open and above-board method. What kind of method is this? Yeah. Chen Mengyan also nodded. Yang Ming, I support you. Since he wants to challenge, then you should accept it. When he loses, let's see if he will run around naked. Isn't this person too wicked? Under normal circumstances, Chen Mengyan didn't like to solve problems in a violent way. However, a challenge was different from ordinary violence because a challenge was closer to a martial arts competition. There were rules, just like a competition. It wasn't a fight. It seems that this time, I really have to accept the challenge. Otherwise, others will really think that I am a coward. Yang Ming thought about it and said, Since I am leaving, people who don't know will think that I am scared away, or that I lost to Fan Jinja in private and didn't want to run away naked. Yeah, before you leave, you have to help Sister Ing solve this problem. Otherwise, that person will be very annoying. Chen Mengyan said, Otherwise, after you leave, he will definitely bother Sister Ing even more. Okay, then Jia, help me reply to the post and say that I agree to his challenge. The time and place will be decided by him. However, it has to be within 2 days. Otherwise, I won't wait for it. Yang Ming said. In Yang Ming's opinion, Chen Mengyan's words were not wrong at all. He was about to leave, so he couldn't leave Zhao Ying with a problem, right? Not to mention that Zhao Ying was now considered his woman. Even if they had not established a relationship, Yang Ming could not sit back and watch Fan Jinja harass Zhao Ying. Alright. Zhou Jia had Yang Ming's login account in the school forum. All students had a forum account that had been authenticated and linked to their student ID number. After posting, they could also represent the student themselves. Of course, if you don't want to use your own account to post, you can register some uncertified sock puppets. These sock puppets can also post, but they don't have a certified student ID number. Zhou Jia edited Yang Ming's message into a post and replied to it. Soon, it attracted the attention and support of many students. Fan Jinja and Feng Jianing, who were sitting in front of the computer, were paying attention to the situation of the challenge post on the forum. Suddenly, they saw Yang Ming's reply. Feng Jianing suddenly exclaimed, Brother Zhe, look, Yang Ming has replied. Oh. Yang Ming really replied. Are you sure it's Yang Ming who replied? Fan Jinja was playing with his mobile phone. After hearing Feng Jianing's words, he quickly put down his mobile phone, turned his head, and looked in the direction of the computer screen. Where is it? It's here. Feng Jianing opened Yang Ming's reply and said, This must be Yang Ming's account. It has been authenticated by his student ID number. Oh, it must be authenticated. What did he say? Fan Jinja looked at Yang Ming's reply excitedly, but he couldn't help but frown after reading it. Within 2 days. Can we get in touch with that black boxing relative of yours? Can he come over? Why not? It's very fast if he takes a plane. Feng Juning disagreed. Brother Zhe, as long as we are willing to pay and reimburse him for the plane ticket, he can come here tomorrow. Okay, you tell him that I will pay for the plane ticket. Ask him to pack his luggage and come over immediately. Fan Jinja didn't lack the few thousand yuan for the plane ticket. Since Yang Ming had agreed to the challenge, he naturally had to implement it quickly. Otherwise, if he didn't set the time and place of the challenge within 2 days, Yang Ming would cancel the challenge. Then, it wouldn't be Yang Ming losing face, but Fan Jinja losing face. Because people would definitely say that Yang Ming accepted his challenge, but he didn't accept the challenge. Then, it wouldn't be Yang Ming's fault, but Fan Jinja's regret. Fan Jinja couldn't do such a shameful thing. Okay, I will contact my distant relative and ask him to come over tomorrow. Feng Juning nodded. Hurry up and contact him. Call him now so that I can set a time for Yang Ming's reply. Otherwise, others will think that I'm afraid of him or something. Fan Jinja urged anxiously. After Feng Juning heard it, he quickly took out his mobile phone and dialed Feng Xibiao's number. Hello, 7th cousin. I'm Feng Juning, Little Ningzi. Feng Juning said after the call was connected. Oh, it's Little Ningzi. Why? Have you confirmed the matter on your side? Can you accept the appearance fee of 200,000 yuan? Feng Xibiao asked. Although he and Feng Juning were relatives, they weren't real relatives at all. He didn't know how many rounds they had gone through. It was just a surname. It was hard to say if they were real relatives. It was just that Feng Juning's appearance fee was very attractive. 200,000 yuan. If he fought in an underground boxing match, he would only get a few tens of thousands at most. That was under the condition that he won. If he lost, he wouldn't get a penny. Of course, I can accept it. Feng Juning said, my boss said that he will pay you 200,000 yuan, but you have to leave tomorrow and fly over because the match is scheduled for the day after tomorrow. Oh. That's a rush. Feng Xibiao said after listening, which city are you in? How much is the flight ticket? Is it expensive? Previously, Feng Juning didn't tell Feng Xibiao which city he was currently in because they only negotiated the price. They didn't confirm whether he would fight, so Feng Xibiao didn't ask in detail. But now that it was confirmed, he naturally had to ask. It wasn't that he was stingy. If the flight ticket was too expensive, it would cost a few thousand yuan for a round trip, plus the cost of staying in the hotel. However, he had spent more than 10,000 yuan. A total of 200,000 yuan was less than 10,000 yuan. He was a little unwilling. He would rather take the train. The nature of his work was similar to working hard. Every penny was earned by his own hard work, so he cherished it very much. In Songjiang City, the flight can only go to the provincial capital, Donghai. The airport here hasn't been repaired yet, said Feng Juning. Chapter 1907. What? In Songjiang City. Feng Xibiao was slightly stunned after listening. This Songjiang City was the place of his bitter past. To be honest, he didn't want to come, but the reward of 200,000 yuan was very tempting. He couldn't give it up. What's wrong? Feng Juning heard that Feng Xibiao's tone didn't seem to be right. He thought that Feng Xibiao thought it was too far, so he quickly said, but my boss said that he will reimburse you as long as you can come tomorrow. Reimburse. Feng Xibiao was tempted again. Although Songjiang City was the place of his sad past, since the other party wanted to reimburse the plane ticket, he was naturally very happy because he could save 10,000 yuan. So he hesitated and said, these conditions are okay, but if I go, you have to tell me who the opponent is, right? What's his name? How old is he? Is he a famous boxer in the country? Oh, the opponent is a freshman student named Yang Ming. He shouldn't be an underground boxer. Have you heard of him? Feng Jianing asked. Freshman student. Yang Ming, I haven't heard of him. Feng Xibiao listened to Feng Jianing's words and suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. It's just a college student. Wouldn't it be easy for me to go? So he said, is he very good? Why do you want me to go out and teach a lesson to a freshman? It's like this. This Yang Ming isn't an ordinary student. His martial arts skills aren't weak. Feng Jianing didn't hide it. After all, if he said that Yang Ming was good, Feng Xibiao would pay enough attention to him. Otherwise, what if he failed? How good can a student be? Feng Xibiao was somewhat dismissive. Seventh cousin, you have to pay attention to him. He is really good. Feng Jianing said, our school's Taekwondo club president and vice president were not his opponents. They were all defeated by him. Damn, how good can a small Taekwondo club in a school be? Not to mention a school's Taekwondo club, even those retired Taekwondo players are not my opponents. Those flashy kung fu is not useful at all. It is just a trick for me. Instant kill. When Feng Xibiao heard Feng Jianing's words, he immediately felt relieved. He wasn't bragging, he was telling the truth. In the underground boxing arena, although there were people like him who came from an unorthodox background, there were also those who retired from professional competitions. Among them, there was no lack of Taekwondo fighters, Muay Thai fighters, Sanda fighters, boxers, judo fighters, and even sumo wrestlers. However, no matter how powerful those people were, they were all beaten black and blue by Feng Xibiao. Some of them could not even take care of themselves for the rest of their lives. Although these people could not be said to be weak, they were too particular about routines. Everyone's kung fu had various rules. They had been immersed in this kind of kung fu for half of their lives, which caused them to stick to the rules. There was no way for them to adapt to the rules of the underground arena. There were no rules in the underground fighting arena. As long as you didn't bring any firearms, you could fight however you wanted with your bare hands. As long as you could knock down your opponent, you would win. This kind of rule was especially suitable for people like Feng Xibiao who came from an unorthodox background, because they didn't have any rules to begin with. Really? That's great. Feng Jianing was overjoyed when he heard it. He thought, no wonder Yang Ming could defeat the president and vice president of the Taekwondo club. It turned out that in the eyes of a ruthless person, it was nothing at all. Right, is there any rules in your competition? For example, what kind of moves can't be used? Feng Xibiao suddenly thought that this was not an underground fighting arena. Was there any rules? I don't want to be unable to perform well. Rules? There are no rules. Feng Jianing quickly said, when Yang Ming challenged the president and vice president of the Taekwondo club, I saw the video. That Yang Ming didn't know the rules at all. He didn't have any routines when he fought. He even used the brick. The president of the Taekwondo club couldn't do anything. After all, Yang Ming came from an unorthodox background. It seemed that he was completely fighting randomly, but his brute force was also very powerful. Oh. Is that so? That's great. That's exactly what I want. I don't have any rules when I fight. As long as there are no rules in the competition, it's fine. Feng Xibiao nodded. Right, that brick. Is he holding it this time? This time we can make it clear in advance that weapons such as bricks are not allowed. Feng Jianing said. It doesn't matter. Let him hold it. That thing has no lethality at all. Feng Xibiao said indifferently. For an underground fighter like him, the physical resistance of his body was quite strong. Let alone the brick hitting his body, it didn't matter even if it hit his head. Because the power of boxing hit the head, it was far more damaging than the brick. He had already practiced, so the brick was nothing to be afraid of. Okay. Then you come over tomorrow. I have arranged the competition here. Feng Juning asked. Okay, you first transfer 20,000 yuan to my account. I will get up and leave after I receive it. Feng Xibiao said. Although Feng Juning was his relative, the deposit was indispensable. Feng Xibiao couldn't afford it if Feng Juning didn't want to fight again. At that time, he couldn't say anything for the sake of his relatives. He couldn't beat Feng Juning up, right? Therefore, he first asked for a deposit of 20,000 yuan. It wasn't a lot. He believed that Feng Juning could accept it. Even if it was a wasted trip, he could still get 20,000 yuan. No problem. Tell me your account number. Feng Juning agreed readily. I will transfer the money to you through online banking. My account number is XXXXX. It's XX Bank. Feng Xibiao gave an account number to Feng Juning. Okay, I have noted it down. You can check it later. Once the money is here, you can leave. Feng Juning said. No problem. Feng Xibiao said. This matter was settled. After Fan Jinja transferred 20,000 yuan to Feng Xibiao's account, he began to reply to the post on the internet. As for Yang Ming's challenge, it was scheduled for noon 2 days later, in the school's gymnasium. As for renting the school's gymnasium, it was a piece of cake for Fan Jinja. Xiao Biao from the student union was his buddy. He just had to let Xiao Biao talk to him, and he could rent the school's gymnasium. At that time, he just had to give the student union some money symbolically. Husband, Fan Jinja replied to the post again. Chen Mengyan didn't expect Fan Jinja to reply so quickly. Fan Jinja had set the time for the competition just after Zhou Jiejia posted the post. Chapter 1908. Oh. What did he say? Asked Yang Ming after he heard it. He scheduled a challenge at noon 2 days later, which is the day after tomorrow at the school's gymnasium. The loser will do things according to the rules set previously, said Chen Mengyan. Okay, let Jiejia reply to him and say that I agreed to the time, said Yang Ming as he nodded. Okay, I will reply to him now, said Zhou Jiejia. Zhao Ying also heard that Fan Jinja was going to challenge Yang Ming immediately. After all, she was the female lead involved in the post. After the post became popular, a graduate student called Zhao Ying and told Zhao Ying about it. Zhao Ying didn't believe it at first, but the student said that the evidence was conclusive, so Zhao Ying had some doubts. After that, Wang Xiaoyan called and told Zhao Ying about the challenge post. Zhao Ying completely believed it this time. She quickly turned on the computer, went to the school forum, and saw the challenge post. But she didn't expect that Yang Ming had already agreed to Fan Jinja's challenge. This made Zhao Ying both happy and worried. She was afraid that Yang Ming would be impulsive and get hurt. But when she thought of Yang Ming's identity, she realized that he was an agent. His skills must be extraordinary. How could he not be Fan Jinja's opponent? Thinking of this, Zhao Ying calmed down again, but she was a little nervous. I don't know what Chen Mengyan will think after knowing this. Will she be suspicious? Will she stop Yang Ming? Zhao Ying was afraid that Chen Mengyan would denounce her. Looking at the post on the forum, she hesitated whether to call Yang Ming and ask. Zhao Ying's personality was like this. She would hesitate when she encountered something. It was precisely because of this that her relationship with Yang Ming was so bumpy. Now that she had finally gotten the right result, Zhao Ying didn't want any more mistakes in the middle. Xiaoying wouldn't be able to withstand any storm. She would rather be a secret lover than be separated from Yang Ming because of some accident. Therefore, Xiaoying felt that Fan Jinja's challenge was completely unnecessary. So what if he chased after her? She didn't like him at all. At most, she would just reject him if he was a little troublesome. Yang Ming's reply to the challenge was equivalent to indirectly admitting to others that she had a relationship with him. Xiaoying didn't want this to affect the relationship between her and Yang Ming, so she finally made up her mind. She gritted her teeth and called Yang Ming. Yang Ming was driving when his phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was Zhao Ying's phone number. He couldn't help but be stunned. Then, he glanced at Chen Mengyan and the other two from the rearview mirror with a guilty conscience. Seeing that they were all studying the post on the forum, he was slightly relieved and picked up the phone. "Hello, Sister Ying." Zhao Ying was stunned when she heard Yang Ming's address. Didn't Yang Ming start calling me Ying Ying or Zhao Ying? Why did he call me Sister Ying again? However, Zhao Ying was not stupid. When she heard Yang Ming say this, she immediately realized that there should be others around Yang Ming. She couldn't expose her relationship with him. So, regardless of whether others could hear her voice on the phone, Zhao Ying changed her tone and said, "Yang Ming, Fan Jinja challenged you? And you also saw the post?" asked Yang Ming. "Yeah, Yang Ming, how can you agree to him? He's being unreasonable. Just ignore him. If you agree to his request, what if something happens?" Zhao Ying lowered her voice as she said this. "You have a girlfriend. Does Chen Mengyan know about this? Did she allow you to accept the challenge? What if something happens to you? How can I explain it to her?" Although Zhao Ying's words were very harsh, Yang Ming could hear the deeper meaning of Zhao Ying's words. That was, what if Chen Mengyan knew about his relationship with Zhao Ying? That was why Zhao Ying made this call. Mengyan and the others are also in the car. They all think that this Fan Jinja is a bit too much. If we don't teach him a lesson, he may become worse in the future. So, it is better to take this opportunity to teach him a lesson. Yang Ming said with a smile. His words were said openly, but Zhao Ying could also understand the hint in it. That was, Chen Mengyan knew about this matter, and Chen Mengyan was beside Yang Ming at this moment. He was also reminding Zhao Ying not to say anything too intimate, so as to avoid problems. How could Zhao Ying not understand? However, she heard that it was Chen Mengyan's idea, so she didn't mention this matter anymore. She was worried that Chen Mengyan would think too much after knowing about it. However, since it was Chen Mengyan's idea, there was no need to worry. She could completely relax. "Okay, in this case, you should be careful." Zhao Ying said, "If I have time the day after tomorrow, I will also go and watch the battle. But don't get hurt, and don't force it. If you really can't do it, just lose. It's not a big deal." "Okay, Sister Ying, you have to come and cheer for me." Yang Ming said with a smile, "That's it for now. I'm hanging up. And, goodbye." Zhao Ying didn't say anything else. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming said, "Sister Ying called and asked me how to respond to Fan Jinja. Sister Ying is worried about you. She doesn't want you to get hurt." "What's wrong with that?" Chen Mengyan said, "Sister Ying is very concerned about you. Although this matter is for her, she also doesn't want you to fight, right?" "Yeah, Sister Ying also said that I should ignore it. But it's not a big deal. It's just a small matter." Yang Ming said with a smile. "Look at you. It's as if you are very powerful." Although Chen Mengyan said so, she also knew that Yang Ming was indeed very powerful. Even when they were in high school, Yang Ming's title of Fighting King was already known to the whole school. After he became an agent, his skills improved by leaps and bounds. How could Fan Jinjia and the others be compared to him? Yang Ming parked the car in the courtyard of the school's family area. He took Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia upstairs and rang Lu Weishan's doorbell. After the Chinese New Year, Yang Ming visited Lu Weishan once. After that, he was busy with all kinds of messy things, so he didn't visit again. Seeing the familiar door, Yang Ming was filled with emotions. I have known Lu Weishan for more than half a year. It passed in a blink of an eye. The first time I came, I was with Lon Ling. Lon Ling, I don't know how you are now. Are you okay? That time at the airport. Who is the man beside you? Chapter 1909. Yang Ming shook his head and put down his thoughts of Lon Ling. When he turned his head, he saw Chen Mengyan with a faint smile. Yang Ming was suddenly a little embarrassed. It seemed that Chen Mengyan saw through his thoughts. Why? Do you miss Lon Ling? Chen Mengyan glanced at Yang Ming and asked. Oh, yeah. The first time I came to Godfather's house, I was with Lon Ling. Yang Ming didn't deny it. Anyway, Chen Mengyan also knew about the matter between him and Lon Ling. If you go to Yunnan this time, if you find her, bring her back. Chen Mengyan sighed and said, I will try to get along with her. Mengyan, you? Yang Ming was a little surprised. He didn't expect Chen Mengyan to suddenly say these words. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen it before? Chen Mengyan glared at Yang Ming. It has already happened. What can I do if I avoid it? Don't I still have to face reality? However, this is the last one. The villa at home is almost full. Hee hee. Yang Ming could only smile bitterly. The last one. What could he say? Could he tell Chen Mengyan that there were still a few people outside? Wouldn't that make Chen Mengyan furious? However, it was also a good sign that Chen Mengyan could accept Lon Ling. Although she already knew of Lon Ling's existence, at least this was a good start. It proved that Chen Mengyan's thoughts were changing little by little. The door of Lu Weishan's house opened. The person who opened the door was Lu Weishan's wife, Chu Huifang, who was also Yang Ming's godmother. Godmother. Yang Ming called out kindly. Big Ming, you are here. Come in quickly. Your godfather said that you were coming and asked me to prepare the meal. I was just about to cook when you came. I wasn't ready yet. Hey, these three are. Chu Huifang looked at the three beauties behind Yang Ming with some surprise. Godmother, let me introduce them to you. These three are Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia. They. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed when he said this. After all, introducing three girlfriends at once was somewhat unbelievable. However, Yang Ming couldn't not introduce them. After all, he was a man. His face was thicker. He couldn't let Chen Mengyan and introduce themselves, right? Hee hee, all of them are Big Ming's girlfriends. Chu Huifang also knew a little about Yang Ming's matters. She had also heard some things from Shaoqing, so she wasn't unfamiliar with the names of Yang Ming's three girlfriends. Although she hadn't seen them in person, it didn't affect anything. Godmother. Chen Mengyan and the other two were also a little embarrassed, but they still followed Yang Ming to call Chu Huifang godmother. Godmother, they have already met my parents, and they have already given me money to change their names, so they are considered my wives. They are also considered as your goddaughter-in-law. Yang Ming said, you don't have to be polite. If there is anything in the future, just ask them to do it. They are also very familiar with Sister Shaoqing. This. Godmother also has to give them money to change their names. Chu Huifang said with some surprise, this house hasn't been so lively for a long time. Big Ming has a wife, and there are 3 at once. I'm really happy. Since her son and daughter-in-law disappeared, Chu Huifang was very depressed. Although Xiao Qing and Yang Ming made up for the pain in her heart, she always felt that something was missing in this house. After all, Xiao Qing and Yang Ming were both single. There were still few times when they could come to the house together, so Chu Huifang always felt that the house wasn't lively enough. But now, Yang Ming brought back 3 daughters-in-law at once. This family would be lively in the future. Godmother, you don't have to give it, right? When I called you godmother, you had already given me a red packet. Yang Ming said with a smile, this includes the 3 of them. So, since I have given it to you, I have to give it to them. Chu Huifang waved her hand and said, you all come in first. Wait a minute. I will give you all a red packet. After that, Chu Huifang walked into the room quickly. Yang Ming could only smile helplessly. After all, this was the rule of the elders. He couldn't forcibly stop it, right? Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejie were very surprised. When they came before, they were very nervous. They were also afraid that Yang Ming's godparents wouldn't be so open-minded. They couldn't accept the fact that the 3 of them were Yang Ming's women. If they only recognized Chen Mengyan, it would be awkward. This wasn't what Chen Mengyan wanted to see. Although Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie wouldn't have any complaints, Chen Mengyan wouldn't feel comfortable. She had long regarded the 2 of them as sisters. How could she ignore them? Now it seemed that Chu Huifang had already known about the 3 of them, and she knew it from Sister Xiao Qing. Then, there shouldn't be any problem. She even gave the 3 of them money to change their names. The 3 of them who were in suspense finally settled down. Not long after Chu Huifang entered the room, she took out 3 big red packets. Looking at the thickness of the inside, there should be at least 10,000 yuan. It was almost the same as the big red packet given to Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan, this is for you. Chu Huifang handed one of the red packets to Chen Mengyan, and gave the other 2 to Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie. Then, she said, in the future, you have to change to calling me godmother. This is also your home. Come visit often in the future. Okay, thank you godmother. Chu Mengyao, Zhou Jiejie, and Lin Jiyun thanked her in unison and accepted the red packets. After all, this represented Chu Huifang's intention. Moreover, Chu Huifang's family wasn't in a difficult situation. This 10,000 yuan was nothing. I'm going to the kitchen to cook. Your godfather may be back soon. Chu Huifang said, I just started to prepare. I don't know when it will be done. It's okay to eat later, right? I didn't consider Mengyan and the others before, so I prepared a little less. Now, I need to add some dishes. Godmother, we just finished eating. Don't worry. Just treat this as a midnight snack, okay? Yang Ming said. That's good. Your godfather also ate a work meal at night. I also cooked noodles. As long as you aren't in a hurry. Chu Huifang nodded and said, then, I'm going to work. You all go to the living room to watch TV first. Godmother, let us help you. How could Chen Mengyan be willing to watch TV? She wanted to follow Chu Huifang to the kitchen with Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun. Don't. I'll do it myself. You all go and watch TV. I don't need your help. Chu Huifang waved her hand and refused Chen Mengyan's proposal. How can we let you do it alone? Let us help you, too. Chen Mengyan thought that Chu Huifang was being polite, so she wanted to go to the kitchen together without any explanation. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.